Hello to everyone out there on this beautiful Wednesday night. My name is Spencer Bakuli. I'm the Associate Editor for Bounding Into Comics, and I would like to welcome you to another Wednesday night and another edition of the Black Pill Stream. Tonight, we'll be talking CBR's awful take on Evangelion. We'll be talking Disney's renaming of Boba Fett's Slave One, and we'll be talking about how Sony is just absolutely losing it in the Japanese market. I am as you may notice, John is not here with us tonight. He is actually sick. He caught a bit of a stomach bug for the last couple of days. So your friendly neighborhood weeb is in the house to talk to you tonight. Hopefully we will see Drew and maybe Dawn pop on in sometime tonight. But until then, it's pretty much just going to be me. But hey, as always, I'm so excited to see everybody and talk to you. I missed out on everybody last week. I know that I was in the chat, but it's just not the same if I'm not, talking to you guys. I see that we've already got some people here in the chat. Want to say what's up to Dr. Alex Stein, who is also Loki, the Templar of Justice, and Lochter, which is how I will always refer to him as. Happy birthday, buddy. I see that it's your birthday's coming up tomorrow, so happy early birthday. And yeah, let us know how old you're going to be. That's pretty cool. Birthdays are always a fun time. Bunny with a keyboard, always awesome to see you. Welcome back. Trident Animation, what is going on? Bobby, I know Bobby says he's ready with his infinite ammo. He's got that headband on. Tehillim, what's up, buddy? QCast, what is going on? Alexander, awesome to see you. Let's see. Oh, you got more what if jokes for us tonight, Bunny. That's great. We'll probably get to that at some point because it's something to talk. You know what? Why don't we drop into the latest what if episode right now? Let's see if I can pull up some visuals and we can talk about it, because last week I know that everybody talked with John about the episode what was it, Peggy Carter became Captain America, and it was kind of like I know like John had like a really lukewarm reception to it. One of our biggest complaints was the fact that it seems like they're doing like what if this person was this person instead of like story-based what ifs. Like what if I don't know, like what if Star-Lord joined his dad? What if Spider-Man didn't side with Tony Stark? Something like that. And I think at least that this last episode did something. It was better than the last one, at least like premise-wise. So here, let me share the proper image or the proper part of my screen. Yeah, so for everybody who doesn't know or hasn't seen it yet, oh, we got more people or more friends have joined us. What's going on, Jace? What's going on? Hail, Father Christopher Miller. And hey, there's Drew. He's making food right now. He'll be on in a little bit, so we're excited to see you then. And yeah, take your time, eat up, and come join us when you're ready. So yes, this episode of What If was what if T'Challa was Star-Lord. And given the complaint I was just talking about, how it seemed like it was just what if that person was that person, I was pretty worried that we were going to get oh, 1 second, I'm going to take a drink. I was really worried that this episode was again going to be just another like really basic swap, like just again this character is that character. But I really liked what they did in this episode, actually, where T'Challa is still T'Challa. He just happens to have been abducted instead of Peter Quill. So I thought that was a pretty cool twist on the situation. You still had T'Challa being pretty noble. You had T'Challa having reformed the Ravagers. T'Challa was stealing things and doing all of that for, I think Yondu says it at some point, for like Robin Hood, who Yondu calls Robin Leach. Hail, Jay Lee, what's up, buddy? Yes, tonight I am solo, or at least for a little bit. I should be joined by Drew and maybe hopefully Dawn in a little bit. So we'll see. Hopefully one of them will join us later. But until then, yeah, just me. Let's see. What did Verona Zorro? I watched both episodes of What If, and it still brings out the excitement, awe, and joyfulness that I get whenever I watch, read, and play One Piece related content. See, I don't know if I would have that feeling about the first episode, because it was really weird trying to have like this is Peggy being Captain America, but going on USO tours. And I mean, we talked about it all last week and how it sort of doesn't work. This one, actually, I can sort of agree with you on that. I don't know if I have the same sense of adventure and wonder that I get in One Piece. Like, remember the scene where at the very beginning of this Wano arc, or near the beginning of this, actually probably in the middle. This arc's been going on for so long. The scene where the Straw Hats pop out of the water and they see Zoe for the first time, and it's this giant elephant with all of the cities built on top of it. And I remember like looking at that panel and just being like, wow, like actually being like taken aback by how awe-inspiring that art was, the imagery was, the setting. And while I don't get that here, I do get a sense of like, wow, I kind of forgot what it was like for the MCU to have fun. Because with animation, or at least the way they're doing it now, you get to play around with the characters and the voice actors. And again, you can kill off anybody, you can revive anybody you want. So we can finally get a little bit more fun. Like, I kind of really enjoyed, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback on it, but I kind of liked Thanos in this episode. Let me see if I can grab a shot of him. Yeah, there's T'Challa, Nebula, of course, the what if version of Nebula. Okay, he's got to be around here. Yondu. Drax is just a bartender in this reality. Oh yeah, there he is. Oh man, how many like nanoseconds of footage can I show? There he is. Oh my gosh, I paused it on the DreamWorks face. Good gosh. But there's Thanos in this episode. We find out that T'Challa sort of was able to, what's the right word? Like more like talk him down from his position of, snapping everything and his mission. So now he's more sort of I think he is a member of a Ravager's crew. So he kind of just hangs out now and he's kind of just their big, strong guy, which I thought was pretty neat. But somebody up here who I saw them mention it when I was introducing what we were going to talk about. I forget where it is. I know I saw it. So if it's your comment, just let me know it was you and I'll shout you right back out. Oh, there it is. It's QCast. This should have been called What If T'Challa Resolved Everything. And yeah, that kind of is sort of how the plot goes, especially in reference to like this Thanos thing. But I kind of sort of, it made sort of sense to me. Again, you have T'Challa, who was at least like 10 or so when he got abducted, but he was already being taught how to be king and royal and learning all those kingly duties. And then you take him into outer space and he reforms the Ravagers. And then he, is able to get through to Thanos before Thanos goes all in on his mission to wipe everything out. So it is a bit of a stretch. I'll definitely admit that, QCast, but I thought it at least was a believable stretch, especially considering that it's like an AU. And I thought it was pretty fun. Let's see. Bunny disagrees. It felt completely ridiculous that Thanos is just a meek little joke now. See, this is where I constantly disagree with a lot of us, or a lot of our audience, and John especially, and like Don, is because it's an alternate universe. Like they stated it outright, like this is an AU, this is not the continuity, these are not the characters. I'm okay with it. You can swap things around, you can throw things around, whatever, because it's not real. It's kind of just like a one-off story. And Thanos was definitely supposed to be a little more lighthearted and jokey here, but that's because it's sort of like, what if you took Thanos and transplanted him into the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? But that's not to say, like, I completely get it, Bunny, and like I see your opinion and it's equally as valid, because I definitely get that. You have a black person looking face and not alien. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I definitely get more of the like I said, the DreamWorks face, like the super dumb smug face. Thanos be looking like handsome Squidward, Shinkai. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like they gave him that strong chin. And that was also weird to me. I think that's probably the best point of weirdness, QCast, is when we get near the end of the episode. Essentially, T'Challa is he gets a job from Nebula, who's like, hey, I need help taking out the Collector or whatever, or stealing these things from the Collector. And there's a whole bunch of sort of like heist intrigue sort of things, as much as you can squeeze into a 30-minute like one-off episode. But the main villain of this episode is, as you can see here, the Collector. And pardon me, the way he fights T'Challa is he has this collection of various weapons he's collected from his time, just from his time collecting. And so like he has like a dark elf dagger at one point. He opens up his little weapons cache and you see he has Mjolnir and Cap's shield. And so that's sort of how he's fighting T'Challa. At one point he puts on the helmet from, what's her name? Oh my gosh, Hela from Thor Ragnarok, and throws her knives at him. But I don't know, the Collector just never seemed like the sort of character who would be in the dirt fighting. Like that's never how I sort of saw him. He's always sort of more the boss man, the ruthless business person. And so yeah, it was really weird to see him all of a sudden like throwing down, getting buffed out by that armor he's wearing, or I guess he was already wearing that armor and he just is buff. And I also thought Benicio del Toro just didn't give that good of a performance as the Collector. I couldn't tell if he was going for the super hammy type that he was of performance that he gave in Guardians 1, or if he was trying to be the like serious type of codebreaker part that he played in Last Jedi. But it ended up somewhere in the middle where it kind of just sounded like Benicio was just sort of just reading lines like offhandedly, like, yeah, I'm gonna fight you. Hela's death sword. How like, oh, this is such a great power that she knew what she was doing with it. And yeah, first off, what's up, Porg? What's up, buddy? Long time. Well, not really a long time. I feel like we talked yesterday, but that's new that her powers came from the helmet. I thought so. I definitely thought that was a new thing. And it doesn't make a lot of sense that the helmet gives her the Necro Sword, but then the Necro Sword is the throwing of daggers. It was a really weird moment. And that's kind of what I mean with, I think there's a lot of potential there for someone to fight like that with a bunch of different gadgets, essentially Taskmaster style, but it didn't really come across right. Honestly, something that would have been really cool is Protector sees he's being raided or heisted or whatever, breaks open one of his cases, and it's a Deathlock. And Deathlock is the one who has all of these items equipped to him and like modified onto him to fight T'Challa. And that would have been a little bit cooler. But yeah, exactly, Roof Korean. Del Toro thought he was still in The Last Jedi. It's this really weird sort of boring, like almost like bored performance. It's very odd. The only time I felt like he actually got into the character of the Collector was at the very end when he's just shouting, no, no, no. But again, I don't even think that's him getting into the Collector so much as it is him just going like, oh, I can ham it up here. Whatever. I'll just go crazy on this one. Yeah, so Porg, Captain America, but better. Second episode, Star-Lord, but better. Is there a pattern I don't see here? Yeah, that's what I was sort of saying near the beginning. A lot of what if is just what if this person was that person. And yeah, for most of it, in the two scenarios we've seen so far, they essentially have turned out to be the better versions. And with T'Challa and Star-Lord, I can definitely see it. Like, I know a lot of people are probably going to take it as like, oh, Disney's trying to crap on white people or white guys, straight white males, or crap on Chris Pratt because of his beliefs. With the ending scene where it's revealed that Quill still exists in this continuity, but instead, because he didn't go into space, he's now working at a burger joint. Like he's just like a regular burger flipper. And then at the end of the episode, his dad lands, like Kurt Russell, and he's like, hey, son, long time no see. And the Watcher kind of implies that, this could have destructive consequences in the future. And so, but knowing who Star-Lord's character is versus T'Challa's character, where you have sort of essentially a child who really is super childlike and really cares about having fun over anything, versus a child who was raised with that sort of diplomatic royal air to him. So in episode 2, I can definitely see it. Like that one makes sense to me. But I'm with you there, Pork. I don't think I don't know why Peggy was put forth as like the better Captain America. Marvel, I feel like they can't choose how they want to present Captain America. I think they know that he should be presented as like the paragon, the best of the Marvel universe, essentially their Superman. But because he's, Captain America and represents sort of like, we all know Captain America doesn't stand for the government, but for like the American dream, the ideals, even though Marvel's trying to get rid of that. We know that that's who he is. And I think that again is Marvel wanting to sort of parse away from that Americana, but in doing so, you get just this really weird conflicting message, right? Where either Cap is the best one that ever was and ever will be across all continuities, or just anybody can be better than him given the right circumstance. I don't know. It's really weird. Again, it's a message of everybody has the same like equity as the critical theorists like to use. But as I always say, you can't one-to-one real life problems or not problems, but topics into fictional superhero media because it doesn't work like that. Like those examples, like we just went over, they just don't always work, and things get lost in the translation. Oh yeah, quite honestly, it's still a facepalm. Thanos in the comics had never been that compliant or diplomatic, but then there was no death to woo. So yeah, again, I feel like he's been diplomatic in a sense of like a conqueror king, where like he lands on your planet, he takes over, and he gives you the choice, like, hey, I want to, let's talk this over a little bit. I'm still going to win, but let's, maybe you can come out of this on top if you give me what I need. But yes, he's never been so compliant. And I think that was one of my main beefs with the Thanos, like how they said Thanos got there was basically just T'Challa convinced me it was wrong. How? All right, on to the next scene. You know what I mean? So don't worry. Again, it's not a great example. I'm not sitting here going, this is the best thing Marvel, Marvel is saved. But I am saying that it's more understandable where I can, it's more of like a than it is like an you guys know what I mean? Yeah, if Carter had used her tactical abilities more and she came off as intelligent, I'd have liked her a lot more. That's kind of what I was hoping for with Peggy's appearance, is show her using her strengths as Captain America. Of course, give her, some extra strength, some extra stamina, like the super soldier serum would. But Peggy was never a brawler like Steve was. Peggy was always about using her wits, her brains, her strategy. And I mean, they even established that in, the first Avenger, like the whole scene with Steve, like getting in his little boxing stance. I can do this all day. Picking up the shield lid or the trash can lid. That's all sort of establishing his boxing sort of brawler background. Whereas you see Peggy and she is heralded as like the best agent we've ever had. Like she's super smart, which is like really great. Like I liked that character of Peggy in the first Avenger. So definitely with you there, Bunny. Definitely should have like stuck with that characterization. Yes, there is an issue where he dreams about being part of the Avengers because he again, Thanos has a very twisted image of himself as a martyr, as a savior, even if to the point where he doesn't see his actions as wrong, especially when we're looking at the comics and we bring in the death angle. He sort of twists the romanticism of love into justification for why what he's doing is fine, because it's for love, it's for the woman I love, blah 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 blah. But yes, so again, like the characterization is out there. The problem is, and I think, Bunny with a keyboard just pointed it out. T'Challa convinced me. Are you wrong? How? You saying he didn't? Are you racist? Oh no, I totally see what you mean now. In that's sort of the problem, is that they needed a little bit more development there for why Thanos was sort of convinced to not only give up his conquest, but join the Ravagers. Like that, I think that might probably be the big disconnect. I feel like more people might be a little more okay with it if Thanos kind of just screwed off to go farming, but he didn't. Drew!
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on, buddy?
I understand both sides of the argument. I really do. But, man, these alternate universe stories get stupid.
Why? Did you watch this one? What didn't you like about this one?
Well, this dude looks like David Bowie,
It's the Collector. He's always looked like that.
but it's like, I don't know. It just, I get that they can play around, do whatever they want, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to wrap my head around.
All right. I'm not exactly. I'm not following, but I can get behind that.
Well, all right. It's a leak. That's all. I mean, I get that's the point of the alternate universe stuff, but I don't know. I'm more of a traditionalist, so I've never been a big fan.
See, the collectors always look like that.
And besides a lot of the like alternate universe stuff, like I like the stuff that I grew up on. So like when I read like what if type of books, stuff like that, they were just executed better, in my opinion. That's all.
I can get behind the execution being better. And I sort of get your traditionalist argument, but at the same time, I think it's sort of a misplaced one, because that is the entire point of this show and these books was always.
I get it, but
here's a different take on what happened. I mean, go look through all the what if series since like the 60s.
Right,
you have lots of radical what ifs.
I understand that, but they didn't. They did more legitimate what ifs. It wasn't just like, hey, what if this was swapped and this went woke? And that's why I don't like modern what ifs, because all it is usually an excuse for them to just take
well, let me ask, did you watch this episode?
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay,
no.
Because there is like, this isn't a woke thing. Like there's no, I didn't find any woke in this. There is no, there's a lot of weird moments where it's like the writing is weird, like we were talking about, where T'Challa sort of just convinces Thanos, but there's no, like, again, if you're reading wokeness in this, I think it's barking up the wrong tree on this.
No, one. I'm not putting wokeness in this one. I'm just saying in general. Okay. Like for this one, I guess the takeaway that I had was, the way that and it's the argument people were making earlier. They to me, it makes Thanos look like a wuss. Like, okay, like he can just be talked down.
I can get behind the Thanos characterization. I see that.
I mean, because in the movies and in other comics, he wasn't presented as somebody that he would consider reason, but not see reason.
Right. That's sort of what DC3 was saying earlier, is that he was never like compliant. He would never, he had his own set of reasoning, his own logic. He didn't really go with everybody else's.
Right, exactly. So he's gonna go by that.
Yeah, I don't know. But even to me, like, because this is just like a what if, what are we doing here? And like a one-off story, I'm completely fine with it, because they're not saying this is your Thanos, have at it. They're saying this is an alternate Thanos in a world where things went completely different. And because it's a completely different world, like, that's why I'm so okay with it.
No, I get that.
Del Toro played the Collector effeminately. Yeah, dude, he's always played the Collector effeminately. Again, go back to Guardians. He's always sort of had the David Bowie, very flamboyant, very like over the, like, what is the term I'm looking for here? Like, not over dramatic, but like he hams it up a lot. So like, again, like, this is the Collector we've seen, so I'm okay with it. Let's see. What ifs are supposed to be the same character with one change to the timeline, though, and not always. That's not entirely true. There are a bunch of what if stories where they have done sort of like, what if this person, like Drew was saying, where they were just like, what if this person was that person? What if Tony Stark became Doctor Doom? What if, what are the other ones that I'm trying to think of here? Like, what if oh my gosh, like I know there's one that's like, what if Iron Man was killed in Civil War instead of Captain America? So again, like what ifs, they all exist out there. Like it's not always, it doesn't have to always be one character through the same like it doesn't have to be that exact. And yeah, Bunny, whenever you want to drop your jokes, throw them out there, and when they're good, we'll pull them up, and everybody else, and we can enjoy them all.
Zach's nice.
Let's see. We see there's a lot of what if Quicksilver was a guy named Ralph Boner? That's who said that up there? Zach said it. Yeah, the most recent movies and TV shows are already basically what ifs. So this isn't subversion. Exactly. And I think that speaks a lot to why this is probably why some what ifs and some of these characterizations probably get to people, is because they don't like, and it's something I've been preaching a lot lately and talking about lately and trying to sort of like solidify the full argument completely lately with you guys. And that's everything we get on screen now. They say we're adapting your favorite superhero. We're adapting Spider-Man. We're adapting the X-Men. We're adapting Batman. We're adapting Green Lantern, whatever, whomever. And you go, oh, great. They're adapting this character, and they say that they're pulling from this storyline. I've spent years with this character. I can't, and I've spent forever imagining in my head what it would be like to see these brought to life. And then you go into the movie theater, and what they give you is not what you were expecting. They say, oh, here's a new version. We're switching all these things up. And of course, people are going to be upset because they essentially advertised one thing and said, we're going to do this, but then went weird with it when they brought it to your table. Hey, can I order a pizza? Yeah, we're going to give you a pizza. We know everybody here really likes pizza. And then it comes out and it's like, why the hell is your pizza made with, tomato sauce and like pinto beans? And it's like, oh, because this is still pizza. Why don't you like pizza? It's a cultural pizza. Don't be so ignorant or hateful. And it's just like, no, nobody's ignorant. Like, I don't hate pinto beans for being pinto beans. I hate the fact that you told me I was getting a pizza and I got pinto beans on cheese or pinto beans on sauce. And hey, so yeah,
shut up and eat your pinto beans, bigot.
Yeah, no, seriously, at this point, bigot beans. What up, YG? Yeah, we do. Do you?
Man, you know what, bro? I can't wait till we get into that story, because I'm about to get.
Oh, we can.
I'm about to get fired up about that.
Let's tag in. Let's see. I'm gonna read some of Bunny's jokes. Yeah. Rocket, you and Gru needed to be in this. That is true. It badly needed some legitimate humor and not just writing bad caricatures of beloved characters. That's also true. Yeah, that was. Here's where I'm torn. In the episode, they turn, what's his name, the guy from the beginning of the Guardians who's like, I'm. They turn. Yeah, they turn that guy into like a fanboy. Like of T'Challa, like, oh my god, I want to be on the Ravagers. Oh, we're best friends. And it's like, I like that sort of character. Like I find that sort of character funny. I'm just not sure if I like him being that sort of character. And again, like, it's such a minor thing because he's like in the Marvel movies. He's in Guardians like 1 and 2 for like what, 10 seconds, 30 seconds collectively. So it's not a big thing, but yeah, that was definitely something that I thought about. So how did Tiven get hella stuff? Oh, it was an awesome battle. Want to see it? Yeah, more than this trash episode? Yeah, I bet you would.
I don't know, like,
what's up?
Like what if type of stuff to me is like, like having something like, okay, like, what if Psylocke had the Phoenix? Something like that.
Yeah, that's. I was saying that at the top because John and I were talking about this last week, which is a lot of these what if stories that they're doing for the show are just what if this person was that person, instead of things like what if Psylocke got the Phoenix, or what if Spider-Man kept the black suit, or like the one I pointed out, the what if Iron Man died in Civil War instead of Captain America. So yeah, no, I'm definitely there with you. The only one that doesn't look like it's like that is the zombie one. Like literally all of them are, what if this person was that person? What up, Wrestler Graham in the house? What's up, Wrestler Graham?
What up, Wrestler Graham?
I am the watcher. I observe all that transpires here, but I will not interfere. I did interfere once, and they made it this bad to punish me. I'm so sorry. Please make it stop. That is actually, I would love to see that actually thrown into the MCU. That would be really funny if you just had Kevin Feige be like, yeah, we screwed up. We got to redo everything. Yeah, that's right, Bunny. All of this is Sylvie's fault. She made the protagonist's decision to stop Loki and kill He Who Remains, and this is the result. I just wish it resulted in more fun things. Like I want to see, like Drew's talking about. I want to see what are some cool what ifs. Like I don't know. I'm completely blanking because I don't even remember half the things that happened.
What if the Black Cat had Spider-Man's powers for a day?
There you go. Yeah, something like that. Or like what if Quicksilver lived in Age of Ultron instead of Scarlet Witch? Things like that. Like that would be way more interesting than just what if Quicksilver was Scarlet Witch? Because it's like Drew was saying, you're just telling that story all over again. Like we just got a Star-Lord story, albeit just like a slightly different version of Star-Lord. So I totally get that. And Superman and Lois have subverted my expectations by being good, dude. So I know you guys. I'm sure you all saw like early when the season first started. I was doing weekly reviews of the episodes, and then they went on that awful like 2.5 month long break to make room for Supergirl. And business just kind of picked up over here at Bounding. We had a lot. John and I had a lot to do, so I kind of lost it a little. Like I kind of put the Superman and Lois reviews to the wayside. But
by the way, Spencer, you know what you need to do?
Yes.
Because, by the way, guys, subscribe to Spencer's YouTube channel because he's trying to make a go of it. And I want to get him some subs. And the thing is a great idea, Spencer, would be just to take your Superman and Lois reviews over there. And, and even if you do them, like let's say like a video series, just go ahead and bang them out over there, and you've got content for people to enjoy.
So I definitely that's honestly what I should do. I know that if I do pick up the reviews proper again, those will stay on Bounding. But I do have a lot of video ideas to talk about other things in the series, like why it works, why it's good compared to everything else. Sort of mini video essays.
Dude, it really is good.
So, no, that's what I was about to say. To Zach's point, I caught up with it up to the point where, what episode is it? It's like episode 13 where it ends with Clark. He comes back to the farm, and Morgan Edge is there threatening his family, and Clark's like, "Just take me, like, leave them alone," and then they fly off, and then the episode ends. But oh man, like this show is so good. Like it doesn't. There's what wokeness is there isn't really even wokeness. It's more just kind of like like for example, I would say like the whole like a lot of Sarah's story is probably like heavy on the woke bent, but I don't even find it like preachy woke. More just like this story clearly isn't catered to me. Like this is clearly catered to like a different part of the audience. So like whatever. But everything else, like all the characters are well written. The family, like I can't get over the family, like how well Lois, Clark, and the boys are written. Like I
don't know. Some of Lois's views, like she strikes me as a typical libtard, but I mean, I could get past that because, like I said, it's still a good show.
But see, that's you assuming like her politics and going, I think she would be like this, so I don't like her. And
I didn't say I didn't like her, bro. I'm just saying, like I've seen that, and you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You could kind of after a while listen. I can kind of spot like libtards from a mile away.
Well, it's not hard. They have neon colored hair. They let you know they're coming.
But yeah, zero depressive. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just she has some of that. Is all I'm saying. Some of it. But choices wise, yes, Frogman, she was conservative in choices. But Shinkai Atsuya.
Hold on. I'm gonna get to Bunny's comment. When Clark gave his kid the speech about how he has to keep his temper perfectly lest he lose the trust of people, I wanted to try to make people who write crap like Mother of Madness. Oh, that book is awful. Watch it. That is exactly it. You have so many moments where, like, you just have mutual respect in this family for everybody, what they're going through, who they are, what they're doing. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw an episode of a show where a parent went to therapy or like went to talk to somebody because they felt awful about how they had treated their kid. You know, like or when was the last time you saw an episode of a TV show where a kid does something stupid and the parents actually punish them and get like the right type of mad at them, you know, like which is what it's what happens in this show. And it's really surprising. I was talking with my sister over the weekend about the kind of like where the MCU is headed, what they got what their plans are. And she hadn't seen that like investor call preview from like a month or two ago where they showed like Eternals, Shang-Chi, I think Black Widow. And then at the very end, it showed the Fantastic Four. So I told her like, yeah, Marvel's going to make a new Fantastic Four movie. And she was like, why are they going to try? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, they already screwed up like so many other times. What's the point? Right. And I was like, and she was like, Spence, do you think that it could be done well? And I went, honestly, no, because in the 90s, you know, there was sort of like that message, that Gen X message of rebellion. Like it's cool to be like angry, and it's cool to not care, and it's cool to not be sort of like genuine or like you know how we always talk about like, oh, everybody nowadays is like ironic in their enjoyment of things. Like that's kind of like when it started is back then.
Perfect observation. Like and real quick, let me address these comments. A lot of people put stuff in chat.
We'll get to the chat. Like let's
but Shinkai Atsuya, yeah, bro. I had a crush on Erica Durance, no lie.
Was Erica Durance was the one on Smallville, right? The Lois on Smallville.
Oh God, smoke show, dude.
Nah, man, I was never about Durance. She's very attractive, I will give you that, but I was never about Durance. I was always about our everybody's favorite convicted cult member, Allison Max.
Oh my God, bro,
that was my girl.
Terrible.
And I hope Jay's not in. I hope Jay Lee isn't in here because he's definitely going to drop the "you have a type on me."
But no, yeah, you like them blondes, dude.
Absolutely.
But if you're a blonde white girl, hit up Spencer.
Yes.
But seriously, what I was gonna say though is
put it on my punch card.
Like the thing is with like my generation, okay, because I'm Gen X. Right. If you think about it, like the perfect encapsulation of what you're trying to get at. You think about the old Rage Against the Machine, their song at their peak. F you, I won't do what you tell me. And then nowadays it's like, F you, you will do what I tell you. Because
more nowadays it's like F me, I'll do what you tell me.
that too. So I mean, it's just like an inverse on itself.
No, you're completely right. Like that, and that's the thing. That's the problem.
Yep.
Like,
see, Jay Lee put it.
Yep. See, Jay Lee. Yep. Exactly. I knew he was here. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, Drew. Like in Gen X, you had that rebellion sort of against like, F you, I won't do what you tell me. Of that very punk mentality, that very like again, Rage Against the Machine. Like let's go. And over time, that mentality, that like a lot of the majority of that mentality transformed into the I will do what you tell me, please do what you tell me, and
be harder, daddy.
Yeah, exactly. But for them, but in sort of a way for those people who got like that from Gen X to justify sort of how like to go like, oh, I'm not a sellout, I'm still totally like a rebel. They hold on to the easy parts of what Gen X was, which was like the like I don't care, the like fuck y'all, blah 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 blah. Oh, good, we're past 30. And so I don't, and like because of that, I don't think like outside of Superman and Lois, I don't remember the last time I saw any medium where a family was written well, where the family loved each other, where they all wanted to.
I would say like, that type of stuff, like the police procedural type stuff. Like my mom watches that Blue Bloods is probably the only other thing where I've seen a family represented where, like, there's like a Sunday meal, everybody's sitting down to the table, everybody does love each other, even though, it's like supportive love and tough love at the same time.
Right.
It's good, and they have family conversation, and that to me is like so missing, because in so many aspects of our culture right now, they're encouraging destroying the family unit.
Right.
And, there's no support of the family unit. And that is like, something that is missing big time. Q2 cast, yeah, dude, the Waltons back in the day, and they won't have nothing. Like, dude, that's taboo to have something like that now. And that's why I'm so impressed with Superman and Lois, because, they brought the modern problems that a family now faces. But at the same time, there is that tradition where mom and dad are there and the kids are there. And, it's not broken. It's not screwed up. It's good.
Right. And yeah, so like, because that, like, and that's what I'm saying, like Superman and Lois is such an outlier because they don't write stories where families are supportive or encouraging or like outside of like boomer oriented shows like Blue Buds, because that makes sense, because that's their cult. Like I get it. And so I don't trust anybody, least of all Marvel, to do any sort of project about a family.
No, they won't.
Like,
because
they're going to do Fantastic Four, but it's not going to be good.
No,
because
it's going to be just as bad as when they had that last one that had the race swap in it and everything. And it's going to be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Little House on the Prairie. Let's go all the way back to the 60s.
Yeah, man. Hey, it was good stuff.
Yeah, see, Penny Wisdom. Chloe was so sweet and genuine and had a good heart, so wholesome. She was my favorite. Who could have guessed Allison Mack was such a monster?
She wasn't my favorite, I liked Erica Durance, and I liked Kristen Crook, man. So
Kristen Crook. Yeah, Shinkai likes Laura Vandervoort and Serinda Swan when they were on as Supergirl and Zatanna. But I'm with you, Penny. Like Chloe probably formed a lot of what I like in life and out of like my romantic partners. And so it was like such a shock when it came out and she was like a literal monster.
Spence likes them blondes with the little mop top.
I do. I do enjoy the tomboy cut. If anybody sort of dropped out of Superman and Lois, I was really impressed by this sort of twist they did in this first season where if everybody will remember, Captain Luthor was introduced in the very first episode of Superman and Lois, and he's a black guy, and everybody was going, oh, they race swapped Luthor. And then a lot of people were going, oh, he's from a different Earth, it's fine. And then other people were going like, but you have Luthor from Supergirl, and it was all just a mess. But in the last few episodes of Superman and Lois, they revealed that Captain Luthor isn't Luthor. It's freaking John Henry Irons. It's freaking Steel. So that's why he has like the suit and a hammer. And I just thought like that was such a good reveal, sort of like how Morgan Edge was revealed to be the freaking Eradicator. They're doing Reign of the Supermen in that show. And I'm just like, oh man, like 90s, let's bring it back. I can tell you firsthand that if you want to write a protagonist with two parents, you can have a parent be a particular personality aspect and make the protagonist a mixture of the two. Yeah, absolutely. What is it? My Hero Academia. I always think of Bakugo's parents, where you have his dad, who's like super timid and very sort of meek and kind of just, wants love. And then you have his mom, who's like super overbearing and like aggressive and like, what is your problem? Like, why are you failing classes? And when they raise Bakugo together, he gets that sort of mixture of personality. He's a little, he's much more abrasive and like F you, But we all know deep down, Bakugo really just wants his friends and his and like acceptance among people. Here's the representation we really need on screen. Show us good dads in movies and TV. We need good dads, period. Absolutely. I think there are, of course, it's a real world fact that there are bad dads out there. But I think that, again, it's that sort of focus from that Gen X time on everything being so negative and awful and rebelling against your authority figures and blah, 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 that nobody thinks you can write good drama with a good dad, which is really unfortunate because you absolutely can. We see it in anime all the time. We've seen it in shows from the past all the time, movies, obviously Superman and Lois. Like it's a shame that Hollywood has somehow convinced themselves that this is what people want, like bad representation of dads. Who knows? I mean, it didn't help with like every sitcom dad is shown as like a dumpy dummy. Yes, Reef Korean. I do mean Fan Four Stick. Guys, that movie is so bad. I don't know if you've seen it, but like aside from the really bad production choice of doing the race swap and stuff, like it's just one of the worst written movies I've ever watched. I think sorry, that pause, I was trying to think. I think it was the worst. It's probably the worst movie I've ever seen on so here's where I'm conflicted, as you guys can all see. Fan Four Stick is awful. One of if not the worst movies I've ever seen. But I've also seen Suicide Squad, like the first one, the studio destroyed David Ayer version, and that movie is hands down the worst film I've ever seen. But they're bad for two different reasons. Like Suicide Squad is bad because it's just like it is studio marketing the movie. Everything is predictable. Everything happens as you, like I said, like predictably, like you would expect it to. There's no originality. There's just a bunch of awful songs thrown in there. And so it's just this giant gross marketing product. But Fan Four Stick is just not well. It's like, it's just a bad movie. Like the production sucks. The writing sucks. All the performances are awful. So yeah, it's just a bad movie. I don't recommend anybody watch it if you're looking for a good time. But you're right, Zero Depressive. It would have been a good movie if it had social commentary, or the characters in general would be great. Yeah, see, Restrogram's with you, Drew. Kristen Crook.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember she played Chun-Li in that really bad Street Fighter movie? Yeah, Jay Lee's with you too. Kristen Crook is my type.
Yo,
yeah, dude.
Bro. Yeah,
there's no arguing that Kristen Crook is top tier.
Hey, look, we Asian dudes, man, we know how to pick our women. No lie. We got good types.
Yeah, see, the doofus dad trope is done. I'm gonna put what you call it? Like I'm gonna put my flag down and say like no more dumb dads.
Although you guys already know, like my major crush, it's still Katie Sackhoff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, how could it not be?
I'm a Starbucks simp.
Still to this day, she still got it.
I'm a Starbucks simp all the way.
The scene where Doom reveals himself from Fan Four Stick, where he turns out to be like melded Power Ranger-y weird thing. Really, Zero? I might have to call in a wellness check into your address, onto your IP address, because I don't know what's going on here. Turds of Sprat was far worse than I Want a Suicide Squad. Turds of Sprat.
Damn, Jay Lee, Tara Patrick, yes, dude.
Turds of Sprat. Let's see. I'm sure I'll agree. Turds of Spray. Oh, there it is. Spray. The iPhone keyboard. So Turds of Spray was far worse than I Want a Suicide Squad. Here's the thing. I didn't watch Birds of Prey.
Oh, dude.
I couldn't.
Reveal RB Doc, tell you right away. Claudia Black all day, every day. I like Amanda Tapping and all, but Claudia Black is all day, every day.
First, dude, the original Pink Power Ranger, Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson,
bro,
always.
Claudia Black. Dang.
Funny thing about Suicide Squad 16. Quinn has to give up a mystical fantasy family, and after she does, nobody praises her and tells her that they'll never understand her sacrifice. Oh yeah, like it's because the name of the movie wasn't Harley Vision. Yeah, Ming-Na Wen from Shield was a better looking Chun-Li. I'd say so. I will probably have to give it to Ming-Na over Kristen. Mostly because Ming-Na's movie was good and Kristen's was very bad.
Dude,
yeah,
Resurgam. Yeah, dude, all the chicks in Battlestar, man. Grace Park too. Oh my god, Sharon.
Yeah, see, like I don't know if Birds of Prey was awful. Well, I mean, I know it's awful, but as surprising as it is, because you guys know that I watch all the awful things because I am a glutton for awful, for pain, and I just could not. I was just like, I can't. Like, there's no point in watching this like hot topic women's section specific movie. Like, I just didn't need it. Even though I did watch Space Jam 2, and that movie friggin' sucks. Oh man, is that movie bad?
Yeah, man, why would you subject yourself to that, dude?
Because I was just like,
why?
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like I have to see just like I know it's awful. I know it's gonna be the worst thing I've ever seen. I just have to see how bad things are getting. You don't know how bad things really are, like that one meme goes.
Bro.
Speaking of, another burp, dude. These drinks,
dude,
every week.
I just, man, them Johnsonville sausages I cooked were so good, dude. And I put chili and I put chili and cheese on top of them. Made some homemade chili dogs with those things, man. Oh god, I just crushed like 3 of them, man.
Dude, that does sound really delicious. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Roof Korean, you always tease us and never get to the juicy stories, like when you never got to the Blizzard fiasco a few weeks ago. Please go over Evangelion, since it was recommended to me, and how Sony lost Japan. All right, we will get into those immediately. Let's do one story that I know Drew really wanted to cover. So I will give Drew the floor for this story. Let me pull it up for y'all. And after we go over this, we'll get right into all that. I promise you, Jay. I will not leave the stream until I go over both of them.
Yeah, but funny thing, guys, in chat today, like this is behind the scenes stuff you don't see. So I like messaged Spencer because I'm like, bro, has anybody written that article about Rainbow? He's like, I'm writing it right now. I'm like, damn. I was like, well, we better cover this on Bounding Live because I'm gonna go off. And look, guys, to me, this story right here. All right, and I saw the articles the other night before Spencer did his today. Yeah. I saw the one from Games Radar, and let me tell you, I've been playing this game since it came out. I've been playing.
Isn't this game like years old too?
2016.
Yeah,
it's 5 years old. And so I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since it came out. So the thing is, all right, it was a different entry in the series, obviously. For the first time, they kind of put more of an Overwatch flavor instead of it being like squad based,
like loadout based.
It wasn't like a squad based counter terror game like it was in the past. It was more of an Overwatch flavor with Rainbow Six mixed in. And you know what? With the attack and defend concept and the way that you could do things, it actually worked. And the cool thing with the game was the operators had unique skill sets. They had different gadgets. Sure, there were men, there were women, but in the end, they didn't care if they were women or guys. You cared about the ones that had particular skills that you were going to get an edge to win a round. You knew the ones to get good with. And this game, just like any others, has a meta, and people played the meta. And don't forget, this is a game that is heavily played in esports. They have multiple championship series for this game and everything else. But never at any time was it a big deal where people asked for or went out of their way where we needed super deep character backstories and this and that. Now, over the years, they've had some. They did have a single player, like almost like an infection mode, like a single player adventure that they had for an in-game event. It was actually really cool, and that's what the Rainbow Six Quarantine game is going to be. They're bringing that back, but with a different story to it. It's based off the single player event and what unfolded after. But getting back to Siege, the character sexualities and things like that, there was never any need for it. Because all you needed to worry about when you played Rainbow Six Siege, it was straightforward. You picked a character, you knew what their gadget was, and you went in and shot people. That was how it worked. You know, you either knew how to, oh God, reveal RB. I remember that, dude. I wanted Rainbow Six Patriots so bad. More than you know, brother. More than you know. But here's the thing. Nobody cares about these operators, okay?
Oh, wait, wasn't that the game? Wait, wasn't Patriots the one that was canceled because Tom Clancy died?
No, it was canceled also because at the time it was considered controversial. And again, this was back when sensibilities were changing and people were offended.
Yeah, it was like 2014 or something.
And so they canceled it. And they came up with the idea for Siege. And listen, I don't have a problem with how Siege turned out, but this type of stuff I do have a problem with, you know, because as a Siege player, I can tell you, like when I play, I have my specific characters I use, and that's it, you know, because I know their gadgets, I know what I'm there for, and I know who I play the best with. So, you know, on offense, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick Ash because, you know, I'm good with the breach round. I know specifically what gun I want, and she has all that. On defense, I'm picking Frost because, again, I'm good with setting the bear traps. I know exactly what I'm getting with Frost. But I don't care that they're both females, or I don't care if I'm using Thermite or somebody like that. I don't care that they're males. It doesn't bother me. I'm there to win a round. I'm competitive. But for whatever reason, and we know all the gaming companies do this, they figure, oh, well, let's virtue signal away and make sure that we have an inclusive trans character. You know, and I understand some people go overboard, like, because we've had memes over the years of Tachanka. We had, you know, everybody's little Asian waifu, Dokabi. I get it, but man, this is just so unneeded. Nobody asked for this.
So, yeah. So for people who don't know exactly what happened in Rainbow Six, there's a new season coming out, essentially year 6 season 3, and they announced a new operator. Her name is Osa. She's this character right here at the top. And last night, all of this stuff went live on the PC version's test servers, so people could access all of the new Crystal Guard content and test it out and blah blah blah. While some players were going through that content, they noticed that in her bio, there is this line right here where it says that at one point after, like, she went through her early life, she found herself isolated at the University of Zagreb due to her unorthodox approach and others' attitudes towards her transition. So that was the one line, and everybody went, I wonder, what does that mean? And so GameSpot reached out to Ubisoft and said, hey, is this character transgender or not? What's the deal here? And one of the game's writers, apparently his name is Simon Ducharme, replied, quote, The decision to create a transgender character was made early on as part of our initiative to have an inclusive roster of operators. The consultants, all of whom were trans people, wanted to make sure that Osa was presented as authentically and organically as possible. She was written by a queer person and she is voiced by a trans woman. And while her identity is certainly influenced by her gender, who she is in the Siege universe is centered on her talents, her influence on Nighthaven, and her close friendship to Callie. So that was basically what it is. Yeah, they dropped this character, had that one line about her transitioning, and then you had this super like virtue signaling response from the writer. And while I obviously don't feel as strongly as Drew because I don't play the game, so I don't really have that strong of an opinion on it.
All right. Well, look again. This isn't needed, period. Because
but like to me, the fact that it's just one line, like if they'd have just left it at that line in her bio, don't care. Like, sure, fine. It's everything that the writer does afterwards, where he goes, "Oh, we did this to be inclusive. You know, we totally went out of our way to do this." That's the part to me that's unnecessary.
Zach says, "Can she equip a golf club?" No, they gave her a really OP gadget. Again, you know, like to almost force people to use this character to you know, because it's going to be meta to use her gadget, because that's just going to be the way of that the gameplay changes. It's just it's so stupid. But they knew exactly what they were doing when they did this. And for them to bend over backwards, like, oh, well, we had an authentic trans person, like, you know, voice the character. I don't care about that. All right? People that play this game don't play it for that reason. Like, you know, I remember playing this game when it came out. Because before I started gaming on PC, I had this on Xbox One. All right. So, like, you know, I remember being on Xbox. We didn't give a shit about the characters. We were there talking shit to people in the lobbies. You know, we were team killing each other, talking shit to each other about, like, you know, how your mom can take 10 inches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like,
I totally get that, because like I grew up in the early days like of FPSs, of Battlefield 1942, Counter-Strike 1, Halo 1, Halo 2, all that fun stuff. And like to me, this particular instance, again, aside from that, like I think I still have it up, like Shinkai said here, aside from the fact that all of that like PR, the question and the response were super scripted, I don't see how this character being trans matters to anything. Like, again, leave it as that one thing in their bio. It says they transition. Done. No, you don't have to engage with it anymore. You can use the character as long as the character isn't running out into every battle going, "Yeah, I'm here to fight for trans rights. I'm the Ubermensch trans," right? Like, as long as they're not like boasting about that, I don't really see the issue.
Well, I don't know. I just don't feel like it was needed. You know,
it definitely wasn't needed. I mean, nothing is. You don't need anything
because none of the stuff in this game requires a backstory, or the fact like somehow you're going to play it single player, or there's going to be like cutscenes or things like that. The only cutscenes we've seen are in YouTube content that Ubisoft puts out that has like lore stuff in the game, whatever, because there's been, you know, video shorts they put out that have had some of the characters in it doing different things, you know, and wow, they did one with Sledge and Dokabi. Man, Dokabi looked really hot in that one. But you know, they don't really need this stuff. Like when you're actually playing the game, you're not worried about this shit.
I know, but like that's where I come from. The other side is like, again, ignore the part where GameSpot asked him a question and the guy, like, you know, was virtue signaling. Like, I don't care about all that. But again, this is just one mention of that character's thing in the bio. That's cool. It doesn't matter to the rest of the game. Just like I know that all the operators in Rainbow Six Siege, from again, I don't know any of the characters, but I know that there's a bunch of them, and I know that they all have their own little bios, and none of them really affect gameplay. So to me, that's fine. Like, you have your little flavor text, have your characters be whatever they want to be, as long as it's not being thrown into gameplay. And because it's not, I'm more okay with that. What I feel like this is, though, is that it's less about any sort of caring about their fans or representation, and it's more about dodging all the crap that Ubisoft is currently going through between their, apparently like I think everybody remembers last year they had that big pushback from their staff saying, or no, last year there was a big sexual harassment lawsuit against Ubisoft, and then earlier this year they said we fixed it, we're good, and then in July their employees came out and were like, no, you didn't fix anything, like be quiet. Hold on, I'll get to it. And then there's also just yesterday, Ubisoft Singapore got hit with their own sexual harassment misconduct lawsuit. So I'm pretty sure that this is just them trying to dodge around it. They're trying to. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing Blizzard does, where they go
damage control spin.
Exactly. They're going, oh, we're in trouble. How can we get good press? And then they go, oh, hey, this person's trans. And then everybody goes. All the headlines are replaced with, oh, so brave. Thank you, Rainbow Six Siege, and you get to ignore everything else that happened before that, and it's just like awful.
So here's the comment from Bunny. It's pretty funny. We have 24 characters in this fighting game. This trans one can kill people in one hit. Why won't anybody play any of the characters anymore? And see, that's the thing, right? That's the thing with this. Like, her look is stupid. Like, I hate the whole, like, we gotta make her look almost like
I don't like the undercut.
Like the playable Megan Rapinoe. So it's like,
yeah,
okay,
right. So yeah, Battlefield 5.
Yeah, so I don't want to play this character, but they give her an OP gadget so that her pick rate goes up. So then they can say, see,
but I mean, the truth is her pick rate was always going to be pretty high in the beginning, because that's just how new characters go. In any video game, the second a new character drops, people are going to want to try them out.
No, because if they're
that happens in every video game,
bro. In Siege is different. If their gadget is trash, nobody's going to pick the character.
Yeah, but nobody's going to know if their gadget is trash until they try out the character.
Well, that's
trash
what I'm
gadget
saying.
For you could. But that's what I'm saying, Drew. Is at the very beginning of their Osa or whatever her name is, like that, their pick rate was always going to be high in the beginning because she's new. And yeah, she has that little like barrier thing, but I'm positive that if it is too OP, Ubisoft is going to nerf it as they should. Again, I don't think that this is anything but virtue signaling to get people off of their asses, because Ubisoft could have just left it in there as that little thing in the bio and done. But instead they had to go out and make a whole hubbubaloo about it. And because of that, that's what makes it feel disingenuous.
All right. Reveal Arvita. I agree with you, bro. And I can tell you, look, like my favorite Rainbow Six game of all time was Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. It was on the first Xbox. And I had a clan called Sickest of All. Shout out to my website, Sickest of All. But, the thing is, I mean, we would have like 5-hour clan matches on that game. That game was perfectly awesome. It was squad based. It was great. It was just a squad based tactical FPS, and the clan matches in that game were epic. There's been nothing since then that's even come close to that experience. I mean, the game had full clan support, the whole 9 yards, and my clan was pretty awesome in that game. Actually, we went to playoffs 2 different times and this was before there was ever esports. This was when you had to game like a man.
Oh, DZ, you're talking about King of Fighters. Yeah, no, I saw that. There's also some big news coming this weekend. We didn't get our normal character silhouette this week for 15 because apparently there's some big news coming. And yeah, Ravul's right on there with you, Drew.
Yeah. Restrogam says when Ubisoft tries to nerf the ability There will be
Yeah.
outrage from Twitter. You can accuse them of transphobia. Yep, and that's what's good. That's what's gonna suck, dude. Because this OP thing that she has, like, because you put in there her gadget, right? In the
Yeah,
article.
it's like the shield lock thing.
So you basically got the shield lock thing over the windows that really, really, really can like legit turn an entire round around. And this is just it's it's crazy, dude.
I don't know. I think I don't have a problem with the character being an operator because
I don't have a problem.
It doesn't change the game in any way. It's more the gadget. But see, the gadget to me just sounds like Reinhardt's shield from Overwatch. It sounds like the bubble thing from Halo. It's just another shield that, yeah, it's gonna suck and it's gonna be annoying because it's gonna stop your shots, but it's just something to dodge around. Like I don't know. I've just played so many shooters like that where with shield abilities that I don't see that being too much of a problem.
Her gadget does more than that. It's going to affect gameplay big time.
Oh, it's absolutely going to affect gameplay, but and again, maybe I'm the wrong person to talk about this because, like I said, I don't play Rainbow Six. I'm just kind of going off of my experience with other games and similar updates to it. I just don't see a shield thing being like that big of a breaker, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong because I don't know. I'm completely and fully admitting I don't know Rainbow Six.
Dude, I really need to do a Siege stream, but you need to watch me play Siege.
Yeah,
so
please.
You understand it.
Yeah, no, I played Siege like twice when it first came out, and I haven't touched it since. So I would definitely enjoy such a stream.
Yeah. Critical Hour was a decent game, dude. Black Arrow was where it was at back in the day. So many people played that. It was like more people were putting in time on Black Arrow. It was like evenly split at the time, like when people were on Xbox Live between Black Arrow and Halo 2. I mean, because shoot, we were on Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow, God, from dusk till dawn, man. This shit was like, I played that shit like it was a job, man. It was fun as heck. But see, This was before operators and attack and defend. It was just like you had to have tactics, you had to watch corners, you had to go have map control, you had to know every single in and out. And the cool thing was in that game, rounds could end in a draw, which they don't have anymore. So you could actually, if you were the last person, it came down to the last person on either team. It was a game of hide and seek. And if you didn't find them, well, guess what? The round was a draw. And that's what was cool about it. There will never be anything like the old school Rainbow Six 3 games. And even the single player aspect of Black Arrow and the game before that, the original Rainbow Six they came out with, the story was awesome. When you played with the AI squad, just the whole way that Team Rainbow was built, they were like the best like counterterrorism team in the world. That's why they pick people from all over the world, and they've just really taken and watered down Tom Clancy's vision over the years. And I hate the fact that they did that.
No, I'm dude. Splinter Cell's like the first 3 up through Chaos Theory. So Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory.
Oh, dude.
Incredible games, some of the best video games ever made. And then they turned it into like bang bang generic shooty, like third person shooter, like Gears of War. And I was like, this sucks.
Well, they did. You still have to play stealth and all of that.
Not really, dude. Look at the latest games. You don't have to do anything stealth there. They encourage you to run and gun.
In some missions in it, yeah.
In most of them, it's like it's not good anymore. Like you have what they do now is like you have the option to stealth it or blaze through, but if you screw up while stealthing it, there's no penalty. They just go, oh, you're there, and it just turns into a gunfight, and you can win by just gunfighting. And that to me isn't.
Dude, the old Splinter Cell games. Oh god, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
So good.
They don't make them like that anymore, and they won't give like a collection. Like that's what I want, like a remastered collection of Splinter Cell. But we'll never get it because we don't get good things in this world anymore.
Yeah, Blacklist was terrible. Reveal Arvita. The only thing easier than easy mode, game journalist mode. Now Bunny,
they're trying to
be fair, bro. Listen, we do reviews. Spencer writes some of the gaming stuff. I write some of the gaming stuff. I'm actually working on a review.
He is
right now because I'm doing the early access of Madden, and I'm gonna put a review out about Madden. Which, by the way, dude, oh my god, I've already been playing Ultimate Team, and I already built my team up to like a 79 overall, and it starts off at like a 60, because I have that EA Play or whatever, and I downloaded Madden from that because if you have the thing that just EA Play that you have like the monthly membership to or yearly membership, whatever, you get you just download it. So I download it, and it gives you all this free stuff for like Ultimate Team and stuff like that. So I got all these free packs. So I'm just sitting here ripping these packs before I get into the actual game mode. And dude, I kept pulling all these really good cards. So I got a pretty stacked team to start out with. And they give you Patrick Mahomes as one of them.
Oh wow, they just start you right off at the top.
So yeah, I got Patrick Mahomes just chilling out there. And then
Penny Wisdom. I definitely miss traditional 2D fighting games. Definitely, if you're in the mood for one, definitely check out Dragon Ball FighterZ. Probably the best fighting game I played in years. I still actively play it all the time. Always got to throw down a couple matches a day. Let's see, where else was it? Has there been outrage over the GTA remaster set? I mean, I wouldn't doubt that it's there, but I haven't seen it yet. And if it is, I feel like they're barking up the wrong tree. Honestly, Rockstar is not going to give a crap.
Dude, Reveal Arvita, Ghost Recon. I have Wildlands, which is actually a really good game. I actually really enjoy that game, but I don't have anybody to play it with, which kind of sucks because I would love to co-op that game with somebody. But Wildlands is really fun. I won't play the newer one because the newer one is kind of shit, but Ghost Recon Wildlands is really fun.
Shinkai, if you want to get into King of Fighters, it is one of those games where you can really just pick up any one of them you want. Kula doesn't show up until I think King of Fighters 10, 11, 12, a later entry, but you could pretty much just pick up any of them. 14, if you just kind of want to get familiar with all of the characters, yada yada. One of the good thing about fighting game lore is that because of the way it's presented, you can really just go to a wiki and sort of get all the information, because you don't really want to run through every arcade mode 45 million times, right? With characters you don't use. So for King of Fighters, I definitely think whatever you grab a title that's on sale, whatever you think would be cool. I know that the original ones 98, 99, 2000 are some of the best fighting games. They're always heralded as classics, and they're really fun to play, and they're super cheap. You can get them for $1 from places like GOG or what is the other place? Game Belay. So definitely check those out if you're looking to get into King of Fighters. I wish ArcSys would make a Street Fighter game in their fake 2D, 3D anime style. Dude, I wish ArcSys would just make every franchise a fighting game in their fake 2D, 3D anime style. I want a One Piece fighter from ArcSys. I want Digimon. What do I got? I want Persona. I want literally anything you can throw me from ArcSys. I want. Hey guys, can I have a request for you? Can you show the full design T-shirts you guys wear now with full screen each other? By the way, nice tees you have. Yeah, sure. I know Drew's got. I'm sorry, did I offend you from Deadpool? And then I have my Kamen Rider Kabuto shirt. Just trying to fit it all in there. There we go. So yeah, just some pretty cool
Killer Instinct. Nice.
some pretty cool things.
Somebody playing Killer Instinct.
That's right. It is 2008. Hey, Restogram. Shh, we're not supposed to tell people how to get very legal versions of those video games. QCast Killer Instinct. I love Killer Instinct. I like the new one that they brought out. It's too bad that they it didn't really go anywhere. And yes, Penny, Arc System Works is the same company that made BlazBlue. All right. Yes, BlazBlue is really gorgeous. ArcSys always does great. If you guys are kind of just in the mood for a new ArcSys game, the new Guilty Gear Strive is really good, and it's pretty accessible for a Guilty Gear game to new players, like accessible for a Guilty Gear game, so it's still going to be pretty intense. But
I want to know, like, what the deal is with them, kind of like PG doing the PG treatment to GTA.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to work?
That's what I was asking. Somebody just said it in here.
Nobody's gonna play that.
Apparently, they're making it non-offensive, and I can't.
Nobody's gonna play that.
Like, people will play it because like the gameplay is admittedly fun, but like you're taking away its soul essentially.
I mean, people play it to RP. People
right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
People play it for that reason, but man.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
There will be modders out there that will do justice to the PC version, guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
as they get their hands on it.
A modder will definitely just like bring it all back in, like a restore content patch, like they did for KOTOR 2. Something super easy like that.
Dude, reveal Arvita in Siege. They do have Michael Ironside, Sam Fisher in there. He's also exactly in Wildlands.
Haha, non-offensive.
Offensive. Get out of here.
Oh gosh, another burp is coming. Hold on. Pardon
me. But besides that, guys, there is, I believe, I want to say
guilty rules.
I want to say right now, in other gaming news, I know that boy, this was a fiasco, by the way. If anybody caught it on Twitch the other night, if you are playing Cyberpunk 2077, the devs actually had a stream, and they talked about the upcoming DLC content, so on and so forth. And it was just a complete shit show from what I understand. It was absolutely terrible in the execution. And CD Projekt Red is getting kind of roasted for it. So, I may write up a story on that when I finish up.
Yeah, I've heard nothing about this.
Yeah, I'll write something up about that after my Madden review, and you guys can read about that, because that was completely 100% a shit show.
I believe it. Twitch, Cyberpunk, CD Projekt, it's the recipe for disaster. All right. So, aside from the fact that yes, KOTOR should have a restored content on the console version, they should completely redo KOTOR and put everything back in it, because the version of KOTOR 2 we got was awful. But if you play the modded version where everything's brought back, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's dope. Yeah.
It's like a different game. It's really it's good. What? You have a friend who plays Cyberpunk on his Stadia? Did he start playing when it launched?
Is he the only person?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is he still waiting for the opening cutscene to finish? Like, what is? Yeah, seriously, sorry for his loss. Goodness.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, Cyberpunk's kind of in a messy state right now while they work on it, but on Stadia it's going to be even worse.
I play it on my PC.
Yeah,
and it works pretty well, fine for me. Now I will admit I might have gone on Nexus Mods and got some cool mods to add to my Cyberpunk. Not gonna lie,
Maybe.
but you know, because I kind of like dicking around with the save editor. It's really fun, by the
Always.
way.
Save editor is so much fun in any game.
But the thing is like the PC version turned out pretty okay, but the console version for Cyberpunk absolutely 100%
Busted.
screwed the pooch on those.
Yeah, no, from what I've heard, the console versions, especially last gen, like PS4 and Xbox One, just not good. Just oof.
Yeah, you know, Razer Game, I never did play the Deus Ex series, and I've heard so many good things about it. I'm gonna have to eventually go and get the Deus Ex series on Steam when I have the resources to, because you know, I mean, you know, right now, dude, we're kind of in a bad spot over here, so I can't really afford to get anything new. But yeah, when I can, I will definitely. I'll have to look into the Deus Ex series. Ah, that's good to know, buddy. I will. I will check that out. Reveal Arbita says, "I just want a new Rainbow Six game with the campaign." Yeah, I agree. I would like that as well, but yeah, they don't have really. I don't think Ubisoft has the wherewithal to make a good game when it comes to Rainbow now, to be honest. And I think they're just going to keep putting content into Siege. I'm hoping that maybe that Rainbow Six Quarantine is going to be pretty good, but we'll see. Yeah, Resurgam, you'll have to give me your Steam name, and I'll friend you up on there. Do you remember what Take-Two said at the E3 about focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion makes them a better industry? You can tell they are not hiring skillful people. No, and this is the problem. The thing with the industry right now, same thing that you get across the board. And I talk about this on my High Heresy streams, guys, when we talk about politics and current events, because it all blends together. You know, they're trying to bash you over the head with woke mentality. So they're going to have these activists that aren't really developers at heart. They're activists first. So the passion is not in their craft. It's in their ideology and their politics. And that's the problem. So they're not putting any skill into the craft or anything like that.
Because the ideology comes first for anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll spend half the budget on like what is it, like diversity departments and coordinators and crap like that before they even think about designing the game.
That's why so many of the story games are trash. I was pleasantly surprised with Ghost Recon Wildlands. But again, that came out in 2017. The first Tom Clancy's The Division was amazing. Loved that game. The Division 2 even.
I like the Division too. I didn't play the first one, but I really like the second one.
But the thing is outside of those stories, which were well written, you're not getting that now. Cyberpunk 2077, I will give it that. The story is pretty good in there. I really do enjoy it. So I there are some things, but for the most part, yeah, the entire industry is woke, and it's a problem because you're getting the same issues that you have in the comics industry and across the movie and television industry. Very poor writing, and it shows. and it's just very poor designing in general. And Jay Lee says, Supreme Heretic, how are your Browns doing in the game playoffs? I haven't played a franchise yet. I'm going to start franchise mode tonight, and I'm going to play with the Browns, and I'm going to play with the Bears because I want to play. I want to try out Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, yeah, we all do. I can't wait till he's good. Next season after this coming one.
Dude, it's ridiculous, man. I was looking at the ratings. He's got like 90 speed. I'm like, oh, I want to play this quarterback.
You'll just like hit A and win the game.
Yeah, right. I mean, I just call quarterback draw every play and just
why not? Or QB sneak it. Either way, dude. So we're gonna switch topics here, but I wanted to point this out really quick. Evil Genius 2. Oh my God, I didn't know anybody else played the Evil Genius games. I love them. 2's not as good as 1, but I just wanted to point that out because I haven't seen anybody else ever talk about the Evil Genius games. They're basically just like I don't even know what you call it, kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but the entire point is to build like an evil base, like as like a super genius, like a Bond villain. So
Jay Lee, 100%, bro. They are a contender this year. They should win the AFC North. They might win the AFC altogether, the entire conference. So
I can't wait. Preseason's currently going on, but before we devolve too hard into bounding into sports, because I know that Drew and I could go 4 hours on not 4 hours, but like go 4 hours on sports.
I know because I know Spencer watched that preseason game the other day. He was like, Justin Fields is so good.
No, at the beginning I was like, oh no, it's another Trubisky situation all over again. And then he got good at the second half.
Like, he just like lit it up, and you were like, oh, this dude is great.
I was like, thank you. It's not as bad as trading up for fucking Mitchell Trubisky. Look, I'm sorry. Your geography isn't as cool as our geography. Okay, that you weren't born exactly where Drew and I were born. All right, that's your fault. But before we devolve into any more bounding into the sports, because I know we definitely will, and man, I think we should start a sports show because that might be fun. Let's get into one of tonight's main topics, which is CBR falsely claiming that Evangelion's Rei Aynami is agender / non-binary.
Oh, dude, I have no idea about this. This is your territory, man.
This is definitely my territory, especially because this series in particular is my favorite series of all time. Like, Evangelion is my jam. I'm sure you guys have all heard me talk about it with John on our past live streams. But guys, you got to stop because fantasy football. I could talk about it for hours too. I could keep going. But anyway, Evangelion.
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Before you start, Spencer. All right. For those interested in our audience, I will go ahead and do this. All right. So if we have enough interested parties, I'll go ahead and start a Yahoo Fantasy League.
Dude, yeah.
And you guys just need to let me know if you're interested, and we'll do a league together because I would love to kind of like win, because I probably will win. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I probably will not win because I never win, but I'm so into play. That would be really fun. A bounding fantasy league.
Yeah, I will do that, and so I will invite some of
Jay's already in, so we got 3.
so
yeah, let us know, guys, on Twitter, social media, comments, whatever.
Yeah, reach out. Spencer will let me know. I'll set it up, and
let's have some fun this season. Yeah,
we'll put together a draft, and
whoever loses has to watch all 2 seasons of Star Trek Lower Decks straight. It's so bad. When I was writing some article the other day, and I saw that like whatever site I was on for the source like had a banner that was like season 2 of Lower Decks now streaming, and I physically just like put my face in my hands, and I was like, oh my God, I have to start watching it again. Oh no.
Dude, after that article that we did with the Kira thing, which by the way, you screwed up on one of the pictures.
I did screw up on one of the pictures.
You could at least put in the picture of Kira that I had in there.
I thought it was the same one. It even listed on Google when I looked for it. It said that was Kira, but yes, that was completely on me. I completely take the L on that one.
Yeah, because there were some.
I saw those idiots.
Some idiot give me a hard time about it, but
you used the wrong picture, and then you were like, "So what? It's not. The point still stands." Like, oh no, there's the wrong picture.
Yeah, I know.
I saw that. Yeah, you went into him.
It was like,
and he gave up, so it was great.
I love when those people try to come at me, dude, because I just savage those people.
No other way to handle them. Either savage or ignore them. Everyone involved in making lower decks deserves daily upper deckers, dude. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yes,
it is not a good show. It is the worst. If you like Star Trek, you'll hate that because it's not for you.
God, yeah.
So let's get into Evangelion. So, like I was saying, Evangelion. So CBR put out this article. The second I saw it, I took it personally because, like I was saying, Evangelion is my favorite anime series of all time. I'm just obsessed with it. I've watched, the original series a million times, Death, Rebirth, End of, all that fun stuff. I mean, I'm literally playing Super Robot Wars 5 right now just to play as the Eva units. But that is all to say, CBR is wrong. And the second I read this, I knew that CBR was wrong. So recently, if there are any anime fans here or Evangelion fans, you'll have seen or you'll know that the last movie in the Rebuild series, I believe it's the fourth movie, as you can see in the title, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, just came out. I think it was like Friday on Amazon Prime. So that was its Western premiere. So finally, everybody in the West is finally getting to see the conclusion to it and sort of absorb it in. So unsurprisingly, as we're all used to at this point, CBR jumped on the train and they dropped this article titled Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 casually confirms a major character as LGBTQIA+. And the writer, Ruben Barron, argued that one smaller revelation seen in the film that has gone mostly unremarked upon on the English language internet is the casual confirmation that Rei Aynami is somewhere on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum.
Not to interrupt you real quick, but hail to Stay at Home Podcast. JM Cruz, what up, bro?
Hail.
Good to see you, my friend. All right.
Yes, Ravul, I know the entire title is Thrice Upon a Time, but I'm not going to say Thrice Upon a Time every time. That'll be too many upon a times. But back to Barron. Barron argues for CBR, quote, the reveal occurs a little over an hour and 2 minutes into the 2.5. Mitsuki is preparing for the fourth impact. In these preparations, he remarks upon, quote, the resurrection of the advanced Aynami series, untainted life forms made with pure souls free of sexual distinction. The Japanese phrase translated as free of sexual distinction, Shiyumonaku, could also be translated more directly as without sex. Thus, he concludes, what this specifically means for Rei Aynami is up for some interpretation, but all interpretations would place her as one letter or another in the LGBTQIA+ acronym. If Fuyutsuki is talking about physical sex, then this means Rei is intersex, with prominent feminine-coded secondary sexual characteristics. If he's talking about gender, then Rei is agender / non-binary. While it might be more of a reach, it's also within the realm of possibility that being free of sexual distinction could make Rei either pansexual or asexual. And here's the clip. So anybody who doesn't know the series very well, this character, Rei Aynami, is essentially a clone and of the main character Shinji's mother, who is cloned continually to be used as a tool to control the Evangelion units, to serve as an interface sort of between the first or the second angel Lilith and the Eva units, because the Eva units mind systems were based on Shinji's mom's. And again, I'm really trying hard to simplify this. It is one of those loopy type of things where you kind of have to buckle down on it. But essentially, as you see in a bunch of Eva media, Reis are basically just things grown in vats. Like they're literal just containers of new Rays sitting around in Nerve headquarters. Yeah, Lee, it's complex, but not not complex. It's one of those things where if you sat down and like read it, you would go, okay, I get it. But getting thrown into it like right at the deep end is a little confusing. And again, this is the last movie in the rebuild of the entire series. It's Hideki Anno, the director and creator, putting like the final stamp on it and saying, we're done here. Like, I'm not touching Evangelion again. Yeah. Zero Depressive. I have to be honest, all that explaining does nothing for me. Yeah. It's see, some of if you get it, you get it. Because like Tehillim knows Rey was meant to be a clone of Shinji's mom. Stay at Home knows Rey is a female clone. And then you got everybody else like Jay and Zero Depressive who are like, I have no idea what's going on. But so DZ3, what is this word salad with non-binary and things like that? I still don't know what is non-binary. Well, don't worry, I will definitely get into that because I'm going to break apart this entire argument. So essentially, like I said, the Rays are clones. And this advanced Aynami series was specifically made incapable, like created in a vat, unable to even understand the concept of sex. Like they have no genitalia, they have no reproductive organs. I guess they've got breasts, but like they got no reproductive organs down there. They can't reproduce. They have no concept of what sex is. They've got no like pull drive for emotional connection. So they're essentially just blank slate sort of like dummies to be used and discarded and thrown away. So agender and non-binary. Again, I'm going to explain the word salad, and this is me explaining it to how these critical social gender theorists talk about it. Agender and non-binary essentially means that you don't identify as either male or female. You identify as a gender that essentially is not defined by the binary, hence non-binary. And as for agender, it's just another version of the same thing. And then intersex would mean that Rey has both sets of genitalia, both male and female. And they're wrong. I don't know how else to say this except that CBR is completely wrong, because essentially, like, if you're saying that this is their sexual identity or their gender identity, you're ignoring the fact that this isn't something that Rey developed themselves, kind of learned about themselves, kind of wanted to represent about themselves. She was made this way. She was medically experimented on, created to be used and discarded and killed and broken and whatever the hell. She has no concept of what sex is. So if you asked her, do you like boys or girls? She couldn't say boys, girls, or no. She would literally just go, what is that? What do you mean? Yes, I like boys. That boy is my friend. Like that, he is nice to me. Like that's essentially the extent of Rey's knowledge, especially if you watch 3.0 plus 1.0, the last version of Rey, the unadvanced Aynami series that is in the movie that are in all these screenshots, is very childlike. Like this scene at the end here, which the thumbnail for this Black Pill stream is based off of, she's literally like gripping a baby, like a doll meant to look like a child based on something that happened to them earlier, like way like at the beginning of the movie. So as I said in my article, this is nothing. Like this writer is reaching and lying and only reaching this conclusion because he himself is obsessed with finding all of this everywhere. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers a couple months ago when they announced, I guess I can pull it up because it's literally in this article. A couple of months ago, they announced the casting for the live action Gren in Netflix's upcoming Cowboy Bebop series. And they announced that Gren would be played by this non-binary actor named, I forget their name. It is Park, what's his name? Or what's their name? Mason Alexander Park will be playing Gren. And if you've watched Cowboy Bebop, you'll know that Gren is a character that has both sets of male and female genitalia. It's like fully developed breasts, both sets down there. There's even a whole scene where Faye walks in on him in the shower and goes like, "What? I don't understand." And Gren kind of is just like, "It is what it is." But everybody, because the actor is non-binary, everybody went around praising like, "Oh, this is so great. They're finally representing Gren as the non-binary like icon we need. This is finally the representation we want." Except with Gren, they ignore the fact that Gren only has all of these like different characteristics because he was medically experimented on against his will. Like like having the female sex characteristics in Gren's case is the result of being forced to undergo experimentation. So like it's not a good representation, and that's what they're doing here with Rey. Rey is literally a tool meant to be beaten, discarded, and they're going, yes, that means she's agender. Like this is the representation we want, and it's not there. It's not a thing, and so
why?
What's up?
Just dude, this is why I am so afraid of if they took like something like I really loved, like Robotech or something like that, and they did a modern day with it now. Oh my god, the gender swaps and shit like that, they would make
well, like
it so
this isn't what's in the series. Like the movie itself didn't go woke. It didn't say Rey is any of these things. This is the author from CBR going, I'm saying this because I'm reading it like this, and the author is reading it completely wrong.
Well, the author is a friggin' activist.
Go right, figure. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Know? Yeah, exactly, Jay Lee. It's projecting. They want representation so bad that they're willing to grasp onto like the worst examples possible. Like this is not good representation for people who want to identify like that. Let's see. The weirdos just love destroying established franchises to begin with. That's the thing. Is like that's what Drew and I are saying. Is like they will come in and they will eat it from the inside out because they want to inject their ideology first over making a quality product. Wait, Cowboy Bebop actually getting past development hell? Chose worst time to do it. Also won't have Keanu Reeves as Spike, so nah. Oh, dude, months ago, it's been out of development hell for a long time. There have been what do you call them? Set photos, leaked set photos. It dropped like a month or a couple months ago, like maybe right before the end or right in the beginning of this year. So it's coming, and it doesn't look good. We have an article on it. Like Faye looks like a bad Ramona Flowers cosplayer. Only good thing coming out of live action Bebop is the soundtrack. Yeah, because they got the original composer, but it's also one of those things where I feel like they were scrambling because they were like, so first of all, it's been confirmed that they did not talk to the original series creator at all. Like they've had no contact with him. He hasn't given any input on the series. They've just not talked to him. John Cho confirmed it in an interview like last Halloween. So in my mind, they come out with this announcement that, oh, we get the original composer because they want to give the product some sort of like credibility where they go, oh yeah, of course this is a true successor, a true Bebop product because the composer is here and he worked on the original and he's working on this one. But again, it's a disingenuous ploy because they can point to that and go, of course, like why don't old fans like it? It's an old fan thing, while the new product is probably going to be awful. And they're going to use it as something to hide behind, like a defense.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, give no time of day to that. I'll probably watch it because, again, awful, and I want to hurt myself. But, yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution all over again. Any anime adaptation is like that. Except for Edge of Tomorrow. Live, Die, Repeat. The one with Tom Cruise. That movie's great. Oh man, Shingeki no Kyojin's live action is trash, but I'd rather rewatch those movies than this nonsense. I presume you're talking about Cowboy Bebop because yeah, those movies, what happened to those movies? The first one was really cool, at least in like the beginning, and then they just went like off the rails into like weird J drama instead of like a war drama, and it just got super weird. There's been in anime, there was a trans character in Vandred, a man who was a woman working as an agent for the world of men. Yeah, there are lots of trans characters. All these identities that these people want to latch onto, they've existed in anime for years. But it's the He-Man thing all over again. I don't know if you guys remember, but when it was revealed that for the new Netflix show, King Grayskull had been race swapped, a black fan on Facebook kind of replied to the news and was like, "I'm tired of this. I don't want hand-me-downs. I want original black characters. Like, this is insulting to me." And the creative producer for that show and for all of Netflix chimed in and was like, "Hey, I hear you, but the problem is nobody's going to like these new characters if we make them. It's hard for people to get to adopt them. Like, so the way we can make people like force them to like diverse characters is by making their favorite characters diverse." And it's like, that is so telling, because you are admitting to me, Mr. Netflix creative director, that you guys don't know how to write, that you don't know how to create anything. Because and John and I point this out almost every week when we get to this topic. Look at manga. You have all these different series coming out every year. You get new series which have to introduce you to new concepts, new characters, and multiple new series stick around all the time because you write a good character and people will, engage with your work. If you're telling us that the only way for people that your characters can be liked is if you trick people, well, that's pretty telling right there. New Warriors, gosh, still waiting for that book. Still waiting for it. Like, give it to me, Kibble Smith. Kibble Smith just got another book assignment. He got handed something big, and I'm just like, wow, why would you do that? Like, give me the product you promised us already before you start giving me new things. I know it's going to be bad, but I want it. You have to take your lumps, Kibble Smith. You have to take your lumps. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that, Tizzler. Alita was actually, I'd say it was more than decent. I'd say Alita was pretty good. Another one of those things where they took the story we knew and loved and adapted it properly instead of like that's what it is. That's just sparked in my head. They're not adapting the stories. They're making stories that are based on the story of. You know how like when you go to watch the movies and like it'll be like based on a true story, and like the Conjurings and stuff are always like based on a true story. And in the movie you've got like demons throwing people out of windows and like houses lighting up and all this stuff. And then you go read the real story and it's like, yeah, in the 70s there was a ghost in this house for like 2 days and then it went away. And like that's what it is. Like that's how they make movies and stuff nowadays. Like, this is based on the Batman mythos. This is based on the Rainbow Six mythos, like things like that, instead of being an adaptation of that. Where was it? Josiah. Yes, Live Die Tomorrow is an anime. Or no, not an anime. It's a manga. I know that. Yeah, it started as a light novel, or adapted into a manga, eventually adapted by Hollywood into Edge of Tomorrow, which is fantastic. Let's see. Kibble Smith proves you can only fail upwards in Hollywood if on right side of opinions. Also heard new Freddy movie or show going to be maybe about sexuality. Kibble Smith, yeah, exactly. You can easily fall up in this industry nowadays. Like Mariko Tamaki. Guys, we all read
God.
I Am Not Starfire on stream, and she got handed before the book even dropped. The only people who saw it were like DC's internal team and like the publishers, or I guess DC is the publisher. But like even before anybody saw that book, Tamaki got a Batman title, 2 Batman titles, 3 actually. She got Future State, the current, I think, Detective Comics, and then I think she has another run planned on something once that Detective Comics run ends. But no, especially in nerd entertainment, it's super easy to fail upward because there's a lot of what's the word, like nepotism, a lot of protecting your friends, a lot of that kind of stuff. Where like you said, Shinkai, as long as you have the right opinion, you are allowed to hang around, and we'll keep promoting all of your stuff. It's like I said a couple weeks ago. What's his name? Oh my gosh, the guy who I think Robbie Rodriguez, the guy who designed Spider-Gwen, and I think he designed the new Ghost Rider, the Robbie Reyes one. He I don't know if you guys remember, but like 3 or 4 years ago, when Comicsgate was kind of just starting to pick up, he got really drunk one night, bent himself over, stretched his butt, and sent a picture of his starfish to EVS, to Ethan Van Sciver, and was like, F you, like, I hope you fail in this industry, kiss this. And he kind of got, silently shuffled away, which, first off, that's one big, like, red flag, is the fact that there was no big, like, we reject you, like we get with anybody else, like with Frank Miller over his old politics, or any various creator over liking cheesecake, like J. Scott Campbell. We didn't get that. They basically just said, oh, Robbie, go over here now. And he was out of comics for a while. But like just this year, he got a couple gigs at DC. Like he's back publishing at the big publishers. So again, it is, as long as you have the right think and you play by this ideology, or you play this ideology game, you can stay and do whatever you want. And it's awful. Hell yeah. Drew, your reading of The Penguin's Daughter was downright Shakespearean. I know your new career path.
What?
Remember when you were reading Mandy?
Oh, God.
And you were doing the voices?
Yeah.
And like I told you, see, I don't know if you guys were there, but prior to that book coming out, for a couple weeks, I was like, oh, we're going to do a live reading. It's going to be really fun. Everybody join us. Then the stream came, and I kind of went, guys, this book sucks way too hard to even do a reading. And Drew went, no, we got to do it. Or at least I'll do it. So Drew and I started going through a couple pages. And like after a couple, Drew just went, this is so bad. Like, I can't do this. Like, this is so bad. It was pretty great. I think that was like two weeks ago. You guys should definitely check out that stream.
Yeah, the only way that we could make it bearable was to like have fun with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can't take that book seriously. It's trash. It's just trash. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Josiah's comment. The cult of woke will always protect their own. Absolutely. You see it all the time. How many people knew all about a certain Hollywood producer's behind the scene actions? You had freaking, oh my gosh, I'll use this opportunity to soapbox because I can, but freaking Jason Schreier is the worst person in video game media, because it's representative of this, Josiah. And I'm going to take that down because I don't know if you want everybody staring at you and your wife on your special day. Beautiful picture, though. So Jason Schreier, old Kotaku journalist, when he was the one who kind of quote unquote broke the Blizzard Activision scandal about the lawsuit being filed. Broke it in the sense that he was one of the first to report on its filing, because it got filed, and then because legal documents and filings in California are public, you can look them up, blah, blah, blah. Schreier was, one of the comments he made after all that Activision Blizzard stuff came out was, I've heard these stories for years. I've heard for years from different colleagues stories of harassment. If you have a story, please come, let me know. Reach out to me at this email address. And it's like, Jason, did you just admit that you have been aware that people were getting sexually assaulted, and a woman had committed suicide, or allegedly committed suicide, because of her boss's actions at Blizzard? Like, you knew this, and now you're just sort of using it to virtue signal. You only talk about it when it looks good on you, because he even followed up that tweet going, oh, a lot of Gamergate people are saying that I lied about this and that I was sitting on this all the time. I'm blocking you. And it's just like, what the frick are you talking? What a disingenuous piece of crap. And then you had Kirk McKean, I think. I'm gonna make sure, because there's a guy with a similar name that I like, and I don't want to talk about the wrong person. Sorry guys, just going to the website to make sure I can find the right person. Yes, I was right. So the Gamer's Kirk McKeon a couple days ago. I want to say like at the end of last week or on Monday, he tweeted this super vague sort of like, I think I'm gonna just have to go to my Twitter to pull it up. But it is one of those things where they will the woke, the people inside, like in the industry, they will protect their own, and until it's deemed like too, what's the right word, like until it becomes essentially bad to follow them. You know what I mean? Like, or to hang around them. They have no convictions. It's literally just what looks good for me right now. And I'm pretty sure I brought that up before because oh my gosh, sorry guys, I got distracted by looking for the tweet. But yeah, that's essentially they will always protect each other. Awesome, found it. Okay, cool. Let me pull it up. Goodbye, Gren. So this was a couple days ago. Kirk McKeon tweeted this. One day, I'll leave the games industry and tell you all about the mad BS I've had to put up with from someone this past year. Just be careful around people who constantly tweet about abusers because they're sometimes abusers themselves. If that's true, if somebody's being really abusive, Kirk, why aren't you calling them out? Why are you not saying anything? It's almost like you're protecting the people because they are, someone who tweets about abusers, which, as we know, is just virtue signaling. Like, that's somebody on your team, Kirk. You're clearly running defense for them while also trying to get some valor for yourself. Like, you're at the same time, Kirk is going like, I'm not going to talk about these people because they're in my industry and they're people I work with. But I want you to know that there are some people I work with that are really bad people. And it's like, what are you freaking doing? Like, yes, stop protecting those people and let us know. But they won't because it'll be a ding on them. They protect their own until they go off the narrative. It makes him look bad as well, and he should have the investigation number for the report. They don't. They never provide any proof. I feel like we should all know this by now, especially Jason Schreier. He loves to throw out accusations and disparage people, brush people. You're Gamergate. Oh, you liked that problematic video game. Oh, you did this. He does that so that he doesn't have to engage with the fact that he himself not makes crap up, but he is disingenuous. He's not the paragon of virtue that we all, or that he tries to present himself as. Remember, this is the same guy who's like, in response to everybody going, oh, so you knew Jason Schreier, you knew about the Blizzard stuff and you didn't say anything. And his response was, oh, well, it's not ethical for me to report on rumor without confirmation. So I couldn't report on it over all these years. And it's like, go look at all of Schreier's portfolio, because almost 80% of his stories are based on rumor. Like, he's one of the people who started the big rumor that we were going to get a Switch Pro before the Switch OLED was announced. He was one of the people who's like, big announcement. A secret source close to me says that this is the model that we're going to get. And everybody lost it, right? Because everybody wants a Switch Pro. And guess what? It was wrong. He was wrong. And nobody's ever held him to the power for it, or held him accountable for it. Jason Schreier is also pushing the story about activist investors placing demands on Activision. They are lying, saying they are investors more concerned with equity than money to push for a union. I don't know anything about that angle of the story, but I definitely feel like I don't believe that. I don't believe that there are activist investors in Activision. Ha 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 ha. They're not. Activist investors are not as common as people on any side of any political spectrum want to think, because to be an activist investor who has real influence, you got to have real money. You can't just buy 1 or 2 shares of a company and go, I'm fighting back, because they're not going to care about 2 shares. But if you can grab 10,000 shares of their company, then you have a voice. But again, the problem is, like, for something with Disney or Activision Blizzard, it's going to cost you a couple dozen grand to make any sort of sizable dent, which is what makes it hard for like people like us to fight back. Yeah, see, I don't actually know if I would say he's one of the better journalists. I know I'd say he's one of the more prominent figures, and he's definitely at the forefront of the conversation all the time because he injects himself there. But I would not say he's one of the better journalists. I just say he's more well connected because he's inside inside the industry. Like, oh gosh, I can't even really think of a good. I'd probably say everybody over at what is that esports site? Dexerto. They're all pretty good. They're pretty good. Niche Gamer is really good. They kind of cover some of the stuff we do. Aside from that, I don't really know any video game journalists that I would praise their work. Like all the ones that come to mind, Patrick Klepplek, whatever her name was, she went on Twitter at Girl from Canada. Her first name was like Mary. She wrote for The Gamer. Anybody on The Gamer staff, Schreier, Patricia Hernandez, like all these big name journalists, they're nothing but a detriment to the industry because again, they don't report on news. They report on things again from like an activist angle. Lest we all forget their coverage of the revival of 6 Days at Fallujah, where they immediately just came out. The game was announced, and they immediately started crapping their pants over the fact that it depicts war crimes. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. This is like unfair to the like Middle Eastern people. And it's just like, shut the hell up, Kotaku. Just report the news. That's one thing that I do like about us at Bounding is we give you the news, and then we say, what do you think about it? You can agree, you can disagree, whatever, but we're not going to sit here and browbeat you into agreeing with us. I mean, if you're wrong, we'll probably push back. I know John does a lot from the main account, and I know Drew does whenever anybody like criticizes his work or one of us, and I know that I do whenever anybody kind of comes out and says like questions us, like says you're a liar, that you're reporting wrong. But yeah, I'm kind of here with Josiah. Jason does a decent job, but he's an opportunist. He really is. Like, opportunist is the best part. And if you are an opportunist in journalism, I don't consider you a good journalist, because a good journalist should be reporting on any and everything, pretty much regardless of how it's going to look on his side. Like, there are lots of times where I've reported on stuff about things I like where I didn't agree with what was happening. Like, where I was just like, this is garbage. And that sucks. But somebody like Jason is going to, depending on who it is going to hold his tongue because that person might be on his side. Yeah, see, Restergram gets it. These are the people who believe they need to spread their values to the rest of the world. Yeah, that's sort of like a big problem, is this sense of, I don't like using their rhetoric, but I do like throwing things back in their faces. They're essentially cultural imperialists. They look at, because notice when a Western game comes out, it's all praise, they're doing great, this is amazing. But the second a Japanese game comes out, it's derision, it's mockery, and it's like moral panic inducing. Like, anytime a video game with like attractive female characters from Japan like rears its head, problematic, sexist, misogynistic. Dude, when they announced that Super Robot Wars 30 was getting a freaking English release, like a Western release, which is a big deal if you know anything about Super Robot Wars, considering like it's a crossover series and the rights in America are just like to all these different series are just completely random and out there. They Kotaku was just like, wow, congrats, you're getting a freaking robot game. And it's like, what is your problem? Like, why do you have to act like that? Like, why do you have to have such a high horse? Oh, it's because you genuinely think that Japan is an inferior culture. Look at almost any debate on like Twitter or YouTube or any social media when somebody is trying to criticize like Japanese art or animation or anything, entertainment, let's put it that way. They don't understand Japanese cultural contexts, and the argument from the people criticizing Japan will almost always devolve into just blatant racism with them. Like, I see it all the time where they start talking about how bad Japan is because they're a backwards people who, if we didn't have Western like people, telling them that their products were problematic, they're just going to go out and sexually assault everybody. And it's just like disgusting racism from the same people who would call us racist for going, I wasn't really a fan of T'Challa as Star-Lord. Like it's the worst thing. And yeah, so that's kind of why I think it's a great switch in, or a great lead in to this report. So earlier this week, Famitsu, if anybody is familiar with Famitsu, the biggest video game publication in Japan, they host on their website, and they always have, and I believe they did it in their print edition too, when they were still doing, like when that was the big thing. But they always provide their readers with Japanese sales charts for video game software. So they always hold like the last 2 reports, which are basically like there's 1 week. Oh, there's like a report 1 week, a gap week, and then a report the next week, right? So they always have the 2 most recent reports. Now, according to the most recent reports from July 19th to the 25th, and then August 2nd to August 9th, Sony is gone in Japan. Sony had 1 game place on the top 30 chart provided by Famitsu, and it was Utare Rumono Zan 2. I know I pronounced that wrong. I always do. I can never pronounce it right. That's what you get. But that game placed, as you can see on the charts here, it placed, the PS4 version placed 11th, and the PS5 version placed 22nd. And that was for the week of July 19th to the 25th. After that, completely gone. They're just off the charts. Let's see if I can pull up the archive of these charts. So this will be the chart for August, right? This August chart, all Nintendo. You got Minecraft, you got Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, you got a Shin-Chan, a Crayon Shin-Chan game. You've got Mario Kart, you've got Ring Fit, you've got, I forget what this is. I think that's Miitopia. You got Miitopia, you got Monster Hunter Stories, you got Smash still, you got baseball, you got Chibi, I think that's a Chibi Robo game. You got Super Mario 3D World, Miitopia again, Mario Party. You've got everything as you go down. And it's not just first-party Nintendo games. Like you've got the new Ace Attorney that just got dropped for Switch, or ported to Switch rather, got placed on there. You've got Square's Neo: The World with You placing on there. You've got freaking the oh my gosh, what, like the rhythm game that I'm completely blanking the name on, that's really fun. You've got Humans Fall Flat on there in Japan, like Dragon Quest. All of these different companies like have their titles placing, but only on Nintendo consoles. And I think that speaks a lot to the fact that they are trying, you have this big push from Western audiences and critics to essentially serve as the moral police for Japan. Yeah, Bunny, Skyward Sword HD is out. I think it came out like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, definitely pick it up. I was a fan of Skyward Sword when it first came out. I might pick this up. Who knows? Yeah, I've heard the new Ace Attorney was really fun. Here's a question from Ruth Korean. What are the chances that yesterday's announcement that Sony acquired the remainder of parts to complete 14 million PS5 console sales by spring 22 is a reaction? I don't think it's a reaction to this article, because I think so here let me rephrase that. I think it is a reaction to the data itself, not specifically Famitsu's like publication of it, because I'm sure Sony has numbers themselves, and I'm sure they're seeing like that they're not doing hot in Japan. And yeah, I'm sure that they want to push more PS5s and say, hey, we've got PS5s coming, so that more people go out and buy it. But you don't have a killer app on Sony yet. You've got freaking like, what is that? You got Ratchet and Clank, and you've got Astro's Playroom, I think. Those are the 2 like exclusives, like the first party exclusives that are out for PS5. That's nothing. So you combine the fact that the PS5 has no games, and then you combine that with the fact that, as we've seen, Sony has this like they have it out for Japanese games. They have such a strong like sensitivity to censoring Japanese games. We know that they censor limb decapitations, instances of extreme violence. We know they censor, cheesecake and risque looking things. The scene in Dragon Ball Kakarot where Nappa gets his arm cut off during the fight the Saiyan Saga fight, they had to specifically request that be allowed from Sony, because otherwise Sony goes, Japanese game, absolutely not, get out. But then with their Western games, you can go as brutal and as realistic as you want. Again, The Last of Us 2 has all of this. It has on-screen like intercourse. It has brutal deaths, and not just in cutscenes. Like the normal gameplay deaths are pretty bloody and brutal, especially when Ellie is fighting like other human beings over the infected, which he does for most of the game, or Ellie and Abby. So it's a giant thing of hypocrisy. But you see, when Japanese fans start seeing this, when they start seeing Sony, pushing them away, there are instances like Omega Labyrinth Z literally got canceled for release, like physically, because Sony could not, like, they wouldn't let the game out without changes. But it was the same, like the company, I forget who was it, P-Force, they wanted the game to be the same across everything. So they were pissed and said, if we can't release it the same across everything, we're just going to release it on what we can, and screw you. So they took it off of PlayStation and they released it on, I believe, Switch. And then if you go through our archives on Bounding, there are 1,004 different games that are censored on the PlayStation, but surprisingly on Switch, get a full uncensored release. Somebody mentioned it earlier. Doki Doki Literature Club was censored on PlayStation, and on Switch, completely okay. PS5 has Hyperdimension Neptunia. First off, I didn't know that, so it has that, but that's also not like a killer app to me. A killer app is one of those ones where that moves a console. Your Halos, your Metal Gear Solid 4s, your what the hell was the seller for like PS4? I have no idea. What did I buy it for? Oh, I bought it for Metal Gear, just like I bought my PlayStation 3 for Metal Gear. So yeah, yes, it is an exclusive. You are right, Ravul. So I will retract that, but I don't consider it. I just don't see it as whatchamacallit, like an exclusive, a killer app. Let's see. Condescending Josh. First off, I don't think I got to say hi to you, buddy. So what's up, Josh? He recommends Skyward Swords. Definitely appreciate it more now than I did at the time it came out. Had to stop playing because my Joy-Cons are drifting. Oh, dude, I was wondering when that problem was going to rear its head, because I do know that drift has always been an issue, and that Nintendo will never. Nintendo will literally do anything but fix the damn drift problems. You know what I mean? And but I'm glad to hear that it's at least okay to play when that doesn't happen. For the next I mean, let's be clear. Like, Nintendo has done a lot of crappy stuff with their business practices. Like their online stuff is atrocious. Their whole refusal to let video games drop in price. Like, go try and buy a copy of Smash Brothers Brawl. Like, that game is still like $80. It's ridiculous. And a lot of their like just really bad business decisions. Like the Wii U was kind of like a big turd. So Nintendo's not the best. And we all know how they go after like ROMs and emulators and fan games and stuff. So they're not the best, but it's like the lesser of all evils, right? Like, clearly PlayStation doesn't care. Microsoft is more of like, I don't even know at this point. I feel like they focus more now on Windows 10 than like Xbox as a brand. So whatever, kind of there. And then those are like the big three. And then you got all these other publishers who, the more they respect their fans, the more popular they are. You got your Segas, you got your Atlases, kind of. You've got like Omega Force, W Force. It's not P Force, it's W Force. So yeah, Nintendo definitely will stay number one. I mean, they haven't gone anywhere in all of their years of existence, right? So I definitely think they'll stay number one. But I wish that there was competition. I always wish there was competition. And yes, thank you, Taiko no Tatsujin. It was like, I was gonna say like Taikjutsu, and I knew that was wrong. And I was just like, can't do it. Roof Korean the Based. I cannot stress how annoying it is to not play the Yuffie game, and I refuse to be ripped off for $1,000. Agreed, Roof Korean. Like, they know how to get me. Like, I want my girl. I want to play as my girl, but I'm not dropping $1,000 for what essentially should have been included in the first game or like in remake in the first place. Luis Morales, who is now Luigi the Metal 64. I would love to see Nintendo port Sony games to be translated and uncensored for Switch. Rico Love should be one of them and include all of its DLC available from the start. 100% agree. The problem is, like, you know, there's never going to be an instance where a Sony first party title appears on a Nintendo console and vice versa. Like, do you guys remember? At least this was the big case when I was growing up. I would hear so many times in a GameStop, somebody would come in and be like, "Hey, when's Halo releasing for PlayStation 2?" Or, "Hey, when's Smash Brothers coming to Xbox?" Like, just back in the good old days. And because, you know, people want it, but because of the business, because exclusivity is still a thing, it'll unfortunately never happen, and it really sucks. Yeah, Nintendo going after YouTubers, that's what I mean. They're really strict on like fan content, and like that sucks really hard because, hey, like Johnny Depp said, the fans are your bosses. Like, don't forget who got you where you are, right? But they're at least still like treating the art of, like, the craft of video gaming with some respect. They're not censoring things, and they keep experimenting with new ways to play, like with the Switch, you know, Joy-Cons and stuff. Like, they're trying, so I always give them that. Their one sexual scandal from Doom, probably Sony. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Just at this point, any Western company, I just assume all of them have the worst skeletons in their closet. I think, who was it? Somebody, I think it might have been Bunny who said it earlier, but the ones who virtue signal the loudest always have the worst, like the most charred, broken up, mutilated skeletons in their closet. So yeah, I can see Sony absolutely having one of these things in their pocket. I'm surprised nothing about that came out during the North Korean email leaks from their servers. Remember all that? I'm surprised nothing came out from that. Yeah, there's a reason that Nintendo servers or Nintendo's games are like that, but it doesn't make it good. Like, they really need to redo their online system. Like, friend codes are the dumbest thing possible. No way to sort of communicate in game. The way you communicate in game with your friends is you have to download a separate app on your smartphone and talk to them through there. Like, I get that, you know, Nintendo wants to be the family friendly. We want to protect your kids from, you know, anything unseemly that they might encounter in the gaming sphere. But like, at this point, you make me not want to play anything on your online. Yeah, exactly, Bunny. At this point, I assume every left-wing company has more skeletons hidden than Indiana Jones. There's literally, you just keep seeing it. And like we were talking about earlier, it just keeps getting swept under the rug. Again, I want to remind everybody that CB Saluski, the guy who's currently like in charge of Marvel, he for years presented himself as, wrote Marvel comic and got books published under or while posing as, and like committed to the role. CB went under, like, he claimed he was Asian for years. He literally went by like a pseudonym, like Akira Yoshida or something. And like the most basic, like, oh, I'm a kid who just discovered anime, I'm going to make an anime name. And nothing came of it. Just freaking imagine if somebody who wasn't on their side of the fence did that. There would be calls for stop Asian hate, stop taking like work away from Asians. You'd be representing this company that has an Asian fan base. Like, but no, he's still there. And like, that's something we know about. What could we not know about? I mean, do you guys remember the what did they call it? Like the documentary series last year that aired on Disney Plus that was like behind the scenes of like Marvel stuff, and there was the one episode of like what is it like to write like behind the scenes in the Marvel Studios office, and they like the Marvel Comics office, and they followed freaking Dan Slott around for a day and kind of got his story. That was not a good episode for Marvel. That showed that they are kind of in shambles when it comes to like how to manage their employees. So that's not saying that in that episode there were any sort of skeletons that came out, But if that's the sort of stuff we're seeing publicly, I can only imagine what they've scrambled to shove under the rug in other cases. Japan is decades behind the West when it comes to online services, social features, and account-based versions. I don't know about that. I might argue against the sense of like online, like PlayStation Online or Nintendo Online, but Japan has always been way ahead of us when it comes to like wireless and like social games. Obviously, like they started like the gacha stuff, but they've had like mobile gaming for ever, and a lot of their gaming was based on sort of streaming games from servers. I know that if there are any Kingdom Hearts fans in the chat right now, RE Coded was that the right one? Yeah, RE Coded, even though it got ported to PlayStation and like Xbox and Windows eventually, that game started as a mobile phone game on like a flip phone, and so like they've always had that sort of great online service to connect with that, and like just a better support for their games. So I think it's sort of different. We might have a better like multiplayer infrastructure, but I think the overall support of the wireless gaming, for lack of a better word, culture or scene is better in Japan. I would definitely say that. Yeah, exactly, Nerdigans. I've heard woke cult people say cosplaying as Asian characters is considered cultural appropriation. But if you dress up as a character, it's wrong. But if you decide you want to be Prime Minister of Canada or you want to be the head of Marvel, go for it. No, or you want to be governor of Virginia, go for it. Nobody cares, right? Because you're on the right side of the fence. Yeah, see, unfortunately, Reef Korean, Square Enix would do well to develop more for Nintendo. Would be beneficial to get Nintendo quality with Square Enix storytelling, and with less performance system, they can meet target deadlines. Problem with this is Square Enix and Nintendo do not have the best working relationship now. And that goes back to Final Fantasy VII. That game was originally supposed to be developed for Nintendo, and then what happened? I believe something happened along the line, and I think like they went to go demo it on a PlayStation console, and Nintendo was super pissed about it, and they were like, cancel it. I don't remember. Go look it up. But something happened where eventually Final Fantasy VII went exclusive to PlayStation, and ever since then, everything was sort of, Final Fantasy was Sony PlayStation. It wasn't really until probably this generation with where you started getting like remakes and collections. The Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac edition, the Final Fantasy 10, 10-2 HD remasters, the remasters for 9, 8, and 7, 7 remakes, not on Nintendo, but you're starting to see that more, but it's still just ports. So, and you do have, so it's sort of rocky between them. Even like when Cloud got added to Smash Brothers, they only allowed them to use 2 songs. Like every character who gets added to Smash Brothers normally has like 30 songs. It goes on forever. Cloud got 2 because Square Enix was just like, I don't know, Nintendo. I don't know. So unfortunately, I would love that. I would love to see more, like a sequel to Super Mario and the Legend of the Seven Stars on Super Nintendo. Give me that. But I don't know how often that's going to, or how likely that is going to be. 64 carts. Yeah, they couldn't fit it on the carts. Kingdom Hearts 3 has 0 Final Fantasy worlds and barely any characters. That is, dude, I just think that's a weird instance of like Tetsuya Nomura, the lead on that, just how he writes, because it's all focused on the Kingdom Hearts specific characters now. And like I'm on your, like, I don't know if you're complaining about it, Ravul, but like I don't like it. Like I still want to see more Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters, but yeah, it's something they are doing. I have noticed that. Yep, exactly. Same people that say using anime avatars is offensive if you're not Asian. Let that all slide. They don't care. Final Fantasy was a PS exclusive since Final Fantasy VIII. Am I right? Other way around. It was, or wait, no, yes, that's correct. Or yes, correct, but it started with 7. I'm confusing myself. Kingdom Hearts 3 was such a disappointment. I do have to agree with you there. I love Kingdom Hearts. I bought my PlayStation 2 specifically because I found out Kingdom Hearts was a thing, and as like a 12-year-old, I was like, Final Fantasy, anime, and Disney combined? Hell yeah, sign me straight up. But 3 was just one of those things that like we waited for so long and there was no payoff. I hated the fact that it kind of ended on another cliffhanger and the story didn't really resolve. And I think that's a big problem with franchise type things nowadays, is that because of franchisability of anything, you can't tell stories that can end. I mean, look at Marvel. If only they'd have ended with Endgame or anything else. To understand what happened, look up the 1997 FF7 advert. That was a 2-page spread with the quote, "Was someone still using cartridges? Please get them a cigarette and a blindfold." That did it. Yes, that's what it was. I knew it was some sort of mockery of carts, of like the proprietary system of Nintendo's using of carts. Let me see if I can grab that advertisement. Oh, yeah, that's right. It is right here. Do I still have a window sharing? Yes, I do. So yeah, so someone please get the guys who make cartridge games a cigarette and a blindfold, obviously representing a firing squad, because yeah, what they wanted to do for Final Fantasy VII couldn't fit on one cart. Obviously, the game we got was 3 discs, I believe. 3. And yeah, so it was this huge tiff between Nintendo and Square Enix, which resulted in that. Oh man, we got a $2 super chat from Jeffrey Turner, our boy MJ1 Media. My Blue Goat Shogun series will be Kingdom Hearts, but with 80s action. Dude, hook us up. I am excited to see such a series, because I think that's what a lot of people would want to see these days. Just really good, just cool action, cool stories. You don't need a lot of like Hollywood messing around and all that kind of stuff. So I really think that that's going to be super helpful or super cool. Sorry. Resurgam. Asian is such a broad term too. There are heaps of differences between the Japanese and Pinoy. Hell, Koreans and Chinese have almost nothing in common culturally and aesthetically. Yes, you're completely correct. It is sort of a racist thing from them to go, all Asians are like this, all Asians are like that. Remember, China is reportedly pissed about Shang-Chi because they see it as essentially yellowface. They accuse Marvel of just mashing a bunch of different Asian cultures together and going, "Here, Asians, you love this. This is amazing," right? So they do it all the time. Stay-at-home podcast. Do you think the West would have allowed Silent Hill 1 to 3 to enter the market if it was made in this generation? One sec. Let me take a sip. It's a good question. I'm going to say they would have allowed it like 1 and 3 probably to enter the market with minimal changes, but 2 probably would have been censorship freaking heavy. And luckily a lot of the stuff that these woke cultists would find objectionable is hidden within like the lore of the game. So it's like the whole thing about like what Pyramid Head is supposed to represent and the nurses, like you can kind of infer it, but it's not spelled out for you. And because these people can't infer crap, they can only understand what is literally presented in front of them. And I'm speaking as if it's happening in current times, but because they're unable to see like what is in front of them, essentially, like what the story, they would probably focus more on the gore than any of the real themes. So essentially, they would get pissed about it for the wrong reasons, or like missing the bigger reasons, but it would still they would still come through, but probably super censored. Specifically 2 would probably be hyper censored. Yeah, dude. Oh man, where is it? Parasite Eve on PS1 was 2 discs. Yeah, there are a lot of games back on the PS1 that were multiple discs, and honestly, it was better for it. The cartridges had a lot of limitations, and if you go back and look at a lot of old N64 games and Dreamcast game, or no, Dreamcast was a disc. There's another console I'm thinking of that had cartridges. But anyway, yeah, like some Nintendo games have suffered a little bit in quality because of their space restrictions. Yeah, see, Nerdigans, The World Ends With You remix, and the first one is a Nintendo exclusive made by Square Enix. And that's what I mean. Like, the relationship is getting better, and we're getting more games like this. I just specifically don't know if we'll get like a co-developed game by them. You know what I mean? Definitely Nintendo will allow them to put it on their systems. I don't doubt that, but I don't know if they'll ever like work together, like team up, the team up that we all deserve. We have a $100 super chat in Ron. What is Ron? What is Ron currency? I'm going to look that up. A Romanian Lou. Awesome. So we have a 100 Romanian Lou from Zero Depressive. Guys, first time watcher. The fact that hypocrites accuse is not new, nor is that they are lying and or projecting. However, just talking about it and pointing it will not solve it. We've been doing this for years now. You are... I agree and I disagree. So, yes, it's not... None of this is new. Yes, we say that we're reporting the news because they are happenings, but it's not any sort of a new phenomenon. And yes, we have been talking about it and pointing it out for years now. And you are right that just talking about it and pointing it out doesn't solve it. That's completely true. But there are a couple, like I have a couple caveats to that, which is one, while it doesn't solve it, the more you expose these arguments to the light, the more you force these people to expose themselves, essentially. I don't know how many times Drew, Don, me, John, JB, or Josh have written an article about somebody in particular that pissed them off, and they tried to come for us, and once they had to defend themselves, it just falls apart. Like the most recent example I can think of that was big was when David Jaff tried to say that I was lying about my article about his opinions on the Activision Blizzard situation. So the more you expose it to the sunlight, the more you kind of prove to everybody and sort of expose how dumb all of their arguments are, how unfounded, how reactionary they all are. Unfortunately, that isn't going to change the zealots, the people who 100% have drunk the Kool-Aid, Flavor Aid, if you want to be specific, of the woke mentality, because they're always going to find a way to, dodge around things, to play their word games, to change definitions, to make sure that they are always in the right. But what we can do to solve it is what a lot of people in our community have sort of been doing, which is make your own content. That is the solution right now. You make the content that people like, that people want to engage with, and you sort of let that speak for itself. Because we're not billionaires and because we are shunned essentially by the more mainstream outlets, it is a lot harder for us to sort of become those voices that are first turned to when something happens, like a CBR or a comicbook.com or a GameSpot or an IGN or anything like that. But oh my gosh, I forget where I was going with that. But essentially, we know that this isn't new, but what we aim to do here is expose it, show you why it's dumb, like really get to the core of why it's dumb, so that when you guys walk away from this, you can have the evidence to make up your own decision and know what we're talking about from an informed spot. I think that's at least my goal, is just to inform everybody, because all of these other takes on things we love, on Rainbow Six, on Final Fantasy, on anything else, they are not coming from informed places. They're coming from places that are reactionary, emotional, and based on ideology, like specifically. And so, get the information so that you can push back against them. And with that information, you push back against them. They have nothing to counter you with. There you go. That's all we can really do now, is kind of in our positions, we can make new content and be the example of what we want to see and support. If you see a comic book, like an indie creator, and their book flashes across your Twitter timeline, and you even think the art looks cool, just give them a retweet. Like give them a like. Just support the stuff you want to see. Unfortunately, like voting with your wallet won't have as much of an effect on bigger products like video games or movies or TV shows, because as we've seen with Marvel, they're willing to just dump money. Gillette is willing to just dump money in service of pushing their ideology. So yeah, from where we are, all we can do is support what you want to see, get eyeballs on the things you want to support. Talk about the things that you like. When a game comes out from a big publisher that you like, talk about it, get people in on it. It is an upward battle for us in our positions, Zero Depressive. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm definitely there with you. And I wish there was more we could do than just talking about it and pointing it out. But I think the difference here at Bounding, as opposed to a couple of the other live streams in our community, is that we're not just pointing it out and going, that's dumb. We're telling you why it's dumb, so that, I think I'm just going in circles now, but we're telling you why it's dumb so that you can be informed about the subject and not look like a complete ass when you want to go argue whichever side it is you want to argue. Sorry, that kind of went for a little while. So let's get back to my homies in the chat. We have another $5 Australian super chat from Ravula Vita. The world needs Zeon of Principality to commence Operation British. First of all, no British, never any British. I am staunchly anti-British. But yes, we just bring in Zeon at this point. Come on, man. I'll get behind Char. Like at this point, it's so like Char, lead us. Let's see. Actually, critical race theory. It's always that kind of stuff. It's always that. Let's see. David Jaff was hilarious. That guy needs some help. Oh yeah, that was just a completely embarrassing episode for him. Revol Vita, the Japanese gaming community have had enough of Sony censorship. Oh yeah, they're pissed. They don't like the fact. They're not only pissed about the fact that Sony censorship affects like title releases in their country. Like Japanese games, in order to be released in the West, have to meet their Sony standards. So Japanese companies aren't going to make two different versions. They're going to make one version and release it everywhere. And so Japanese gamers are like, hate it. They do not like it, and they do not like the fact that they're seemingly being ignored for games with global appeal. Like that's literally the terminology Sony themselves have used, is that we want to make games focused on mass global appeal. And it's like when you do that, when you try to appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. And I hope it hits them in the wallet soon. I know that their movie division isn't exactly the strongest right now, so hopefully it hits them in their video game publishing pockets, but I'm not entirely sure if it will. Hypocrisy is outstanding and clearly one-sided. Oh yeah, it always is. It always is with that other side. I mean, it's kind of there's a lot of it on our side too, but the problem is nobody is willing to take an L. There are so many times where I would have so much more respect for the craziest, most critical race theory indoctrinated person on the planet if they just went, hey, you were right. I completely messed up on that one. They don't have to say, I agree with you now. My beliefs are wrong. But just be able to, be cognizant enough and mature enough to go, okay, I was wrong. You were right. My bad. Let's move forward. I still don't
they'll never take ownership though.
No, they never do. They absolutely never do.
I mean, those people are the biggest definition of wuss.
Oh, absolutely. Like the example I point to is like Josh mentions, Jaff still got some shills backing him up. Dude, Jaff's whole thing, like, I'm not going to relitigate all of it because it's a long thing. You can go check out 2 weeks ago.
But you ever notice those, Spencer, those people all the time say like, oh, we do something that has consequences, but oh man, they never do.
It's consequences for thee, not for me. It always has been like that. But the thing with Jaff not taking responsibility or owning up to it was when I was involved in that little tiff with him over the headline article, I literally timestamped his response and was like, here, Jaff, Mr. Jaff, this is what you said. Tell me where what I said was wrong. And he literally responded that like it's not wrong, but it's not like just like a weird like non-answer. And I was like, you can disagree with the fact that it's being reported, but you can't. I'm not going to stand here while you call me a liar and you accuse me and my site and my friends and coworkers of being liars. And Jaff essentially just came out and said, oh, well, your site has a reputation. And if it didn't have a reputation, maybe I would. Oh, that's what I said. I said, like, look, if you'd have just come out and said, hey, I think like, I see how my words were misinterpreted, but this is what I meant. Would you please order or issue a correction? Completely fine. I would have gone, totally get it. Let's correct. But instead, he comes out swinging about us being liars and stuff. And so I eventually pressed him. I was like, why did you, like, if that's what you wanted, if you just wanted a correction, I'd have been happy to do it. Why didn't you just say that? And his reasoning was literally like, you have a reputation, so I didn't feel the need to treat you with the proper respect. I didn't feel the need to, like, because of his view of us, he chose to frame us as liars, even though he knew that all he had to do was say, hey, this is actually what I was trying to say.
Zero Depressive is exactly right. They have a brazen, you're less than human attitude.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like we somebody said it up there, and I think I highlighted it. The second you step away from their ideology, the second you're not useful to them, you're gone. They do not care.
They like to be elitist pricks, and that's what I hate. It's that Gen X part of me that wants to slap these people across the face. Dude.
Oh, dude, I think they all deserve a good slapping. Slap.
Like, I would slap them. I mean, I'd probably knock one of these sons of bitches out. I don't like people like that. I don't like.
Oh no, and you shouldn't, honestly. Like, this kind of behavior shouldn't be acceptable. Like the other day, I saw an interview with Robin DiAngelo, and white fragility, the worst, dude. Right? Yeah, exactly. And somebody asked her. They said, some black people disagree with what you teach. What would you consider them? Like, they're not following your anti-racist teachings. What do you say? And Robin DiAngelo literally went, I don't care about their opinions. If you're a black person who doesn't agree with me, I don't care about your opinions. It is a less than human attitude. It always, they will throw you. Look at how just anybody who gets sort of like othered just gets immediately, not just othered, but like stripped of their humanity. They're not allowed to exist anymore. If they exist, these people will fight to ruin their lives and keep them ruined. And it's awful. It is a less than human attitude because they genuinely think they are better than you. They don't see you as another human being, somebody on my level. They see you as ignorant, uncultured, racist, they see you as lesser. Forget slapping. They probably get off on that. Give them a code red, like in A Few Good Men. Tie a blanket over them and take turns punching them.
Blanket party.
I forgot about that movie. That's a good movie. We got a $5 super chat from Ravul Arvita. I want my waifus to be uncensored and not to be called misogynistic by SJW Twitter. I do too. I want to go back to the early West days of Twitter or not just Twitter, like of the internet. I just want to go back to the days where things could exist and things didn't have to always fall into the zeitgeist, or not even the zeitgeist, but like, what would you call it? Like the ideological wars. And that was a really weird way that I said that, but
no, I mean, I agree with you, dude. I want to go back to the days where I didn't have to tiptoe around their bullshit. It's right. Like, I mean, not everything that exists for you to sit there and play in your woke sandbox with.
Right.
It's not what it's about. These people need to realize that they are like 3%. Okay, 3% of like the actual population, and they need to shut the F up and deal with the fact that their woke bullshit isn't what the masses like.
No. So, I mean, what was it, the report that came out like last week where it was like only 4% of Latinos or even care about the term Latinx. All the others use like Hispanic and Latino and don't like it. But they keep pushing it. There was a freaking court decision today, and I forget which court it was. Like a United States court used the term Latinx in their judgment, and I was just like, cannot happen. Like, this is unacceptable. Like, it was just
and that's the thing, dude. It's like these people.
No, we weren't. Not according to them.
These people, they don't understand that they are a minority, and they need to like be, they need to be like. have their asses kicked and reminded.
Well, they absolutely do, and the problem is that they've reinforced this mentality that they're super important because people make them super important. These companies listen to this small majority on Twitter. Again, 2% of Americans are on Twitter, and so what's like 3% of 2%? You're getting into like decimal points that I don't even know because I was really bad at math in school. Yep. So, like, and yet you still have companies catering to them. I was going through some stuff today while I was working, and I came across this old article where in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there's like a character with like a burn on her face, and she doesn't like it. She's like, it's a scar, it's hideous, don't look at me. And one person complained that it was ableist because her girlfriend was a burn victim and was, didn't feel good when she saw that character on screen. And Ubisoft changed it. They said, we're going to change that entire character's burn story. Like, no reference to her being ashamed. We want to be body positive. And it's like, why are you catering to this very small amount of people? The second you start doing that, the second you start issuing patches for what every one of your 4 million players want, and guess what? When you get that sort of a game that 4 million players can do anything they want to do in is Roblox. And Roblox sucks. It functions and you can play things in it. And like lots of people recreate other games in Roblox, but it's still not a good thing because it has to be accessible to, everybody. And that is just the thing. And yeah, QCast, it's not just Curry. Like our final topic tonight, like, because I know Bunny wants to talk about it. Disney officially renamed Slave 1 because, they didn't come out and say why they renamed it, but we all know why.
Well, I think they reclassed it.
No. Or go ahead. Sorry.
Because they gave the class style ship. It'd be like saying a Colonial Mark 7 Viper. That doesn't have a proper
and I get that, but the problem here is the reveal, the name reveal came in a Marvel preview for their upcoming Star Wars crossover event called War of the Bounty Hunters, which follows Boba Fett as he's trying to deliver the carbonite frozen Han Solo from the end of Empire to Jabba's palace, as you see him in Return of the Jedi. But as he's trying to get him there, he's being dogged by every other bounty hunter because that's a big bounty. They want it for themselves. And so Marvel put out a preview of like 6 different variant covers of all of the different bounty hunters like Bosk and IG-88 and Boba. And it's like, you can see it right here. Like it's the bounty hunter themselves with their ship and some how do you pronounce that? Like emojis or Arabesh. That's right. The Arabesh text, like it's not mentioned there. It's just like sort of like details, but in the words, like in the the press release Marvel sent, they said fans can see the following characters and vehicles on variant covers throughout September. And yes, the model of Slave 1 is a Fire Spray 1 class attack and patrol cruiser constructed by like the something with like some corporation with a K. I know that. I get that. But all of these other ones, like a lot, and there have been people on Twitter saying, "Oh, they're just referencing the model of the ship." All of them are referenced by models. But the problem is, like, in reality, all the other bounty hunter ships are named. Like Bosk's Houndstooth is not that's not the model of the ship. That's his specific ship. The IG-2000 is specifically IG's. The Mist Hunter is specifically Zuckuss. Broken Wing is specifically Valence's, and Punishing One is specifically Dengar.
I'm not saying that they're not trying to get away from saying the word Slave 1. That's exactly what they want to do. They're gonna try and do everything to actually change it, but I don't think that they can change it because they're stuck with it. Every Star Wars fan in their right mind knows that it's named Slave 1.
You're completely right on that one.
So they can't.
I don't think it'll stop them from trying.
They can't formally change it.
They can try.
So they'll do the fighter spray class or whatever. I
don't know. I think they will
fire spray.
I think they will. They'll like if they called it Boba Fett's fire spray, I would get that. But yeah, I think that it's they're either going to rename it fire spray, which is what this preview makes it out to be, or it'll be like you just said, Drew, like they'll refer to it as Boba Fett's fire spray. And either way,
and that's
like,
what I think it'll be. It'll be like Boba Fett's fire spray.
I feel personally, I feel like that might be more of where they're going, but just by the way they previewed it right here, that to me says they're naming it fire spray. Either way, you're right. Fans aren't going to just say later Slave One. Like everybody knows it's Slave One, and it's Slave One for a reason, because it has to do with the fact that he was a slave. Like him and his dads were slaves, and exactly. Slaves have always been a thing in Star Wars. That would be like changing the Harry Potter sorcery name because the Christians hate magic and ghosts. Yeah, that's exactly on point. And the worst thing is, this was like the renaming of Slave One, or the moving away from Slave One's name, was done unprompted. Just like it was revealed a couple months ago by Lego Star Wars design director Ken's. Oh Lord, here's like a Nordic name that I'm definitely not going to get. Kronvold Frederick Sengiven. Okay, maybe it wasn't that hard. He was talking about the upcoming Lego Star Wars set of Boba Fett's ship, and on the box it's just named as Boba Fett's ship. And so people asked him, and then this design director was basically saying it's just something that Disney doesn't want to use anymore. And nobody complained about it. I swear to you, my good friends, my good friends and audience members, I have not seen one person actually complain about the name Slave One. It's a virtue signal. This is the example, the definite example of what a virtue signal is, which is trying to appease some imaginary offended group who probably wasn't even offended in the first place, or didn't care about whatever the hell you're talking about in the first place. But that's exactly where we get. Yeah, exactly. To me, it is and always will be Slave One. Oh, Philip objects to that. No one in their right mind is still a Star Wars fan. Yes, exactly. I know that John disagrees with me on this, but like I don't like Star Wars anymore. I like the old stuff for what it was, but like anytime a new Star Wars thing is announced, I just don't. I know it's going to be bad. Like
I legit don't care anymore. I really,
exactly.
I really don't.
Like I only know Star Wars stuff is happening because John reports it, and John and I have to talk about it. Otherwise, like I wouldn't. Like what were we talking? There was a point I wanted to make earlier when Drew was talking about how you can see all of this. Oh man, what the frick was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought there. Spoilers: the official renaming is Slave 2. That would be funny. I would genuinely laugh if it was Slave 2. Oh, but what I was saying was, oh my gosh, it keeps coming in and it keeps coming out. I'm gonna refrain from trying to say it until I definitely have it.
Well, it's after midnight now, so
you're right.
It's time for bed.
It's definitely time to wrap up. Let's see. I'm gonna grab Bunny's 2 jokes. Those who call themselves Star Wars fans can be divided into 2 groups, neither respecting the others. There are those who still call it Slave One, and those who want Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley to get together. Agreed. And then you can call it fire spray all you want, but it's important to remember that the medical term is gonorrhea. Yeah, exactly. Right? It is not an appealing name. Like there's nothing I can think of where fire spray is good. No, but okay, so I finally have the point. When the problem is when we go out with this ideological stuff, when anything is announced, given our jobs, like the bounding staff here and other people in our sphere, the knee-jerk reaction is always now like, how is this going to be bad? Rather than I'm excited. Like I don't remember the last time I saw something from Marvel drop or DC and they preview it and I could feel happy and excited about it. Like it doesn't exist anymore because it's all it's ideology over everything, over product, over entertainment, and they do see you as less than human, and they want to educate you. They want to re-educate you. Like that's exactly it.
Well, that ain't happening with me, man.
It definitely. I don't think it's happening with anybody who is willing to open their eyes. And I think, Drew's right. It is midnight now on the West Coast or on the East Coast. So I think we will end it with just another red shirt. It's Slave One. period.
That's right.
Absolutely, my friend.
Hail, Red Shirt.
Given that it is midnight, we will draw this edition of the Black Pill stream to an end. In doing so, I will throw it over to Drew. Drew, tell the people what you've got going on.
That's right, folks. I'm always repping that Stars and Stripes behind me.
You know it.
Listen, you guys know on Tuesdays you can catch me on my channel at Supreme Heretic. Of course, here on YouTube, I do our Rogue Entertainment show, which is the Rogue Squadron. So, make sure that you catch that on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, when we want to take a break from politics, which, I very rarely, in the journalism that I do here at Bounding and outside of Bounding, I'm always covering politics, current events. But on Thursdays, it's Battlestar Galactica time. And we are going to get into this. We're going to start with season 4 this Thursday. So make sure that you check that out. Season 4, episode 1 of Ronald D. Moore's BSG. I believe the episode's called He That Believeth in Me. And it'll be myself, Arwen Avalon, Brightest Day. We're going to be bringing you a great discussion about that. And that will be at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Probably more like around 9:15-ish. But yeah, around there. And it's going to be a good time. So if you enjoy BSG, come and chit-chat with us. Hang out in my chat. You're going to have a good time. Guaranteed.
It's a good show. I definitely enjoy Pegasus Actual, even though I can't chat most of the time because I'm listening to it.
And besides that, look for my Madden review that I've got coming up. And maybe tomorrow while I'm doing this early access thing, I might fire up a stream and give you guys a sneak peek at some Madden, and show off my Cleveland Browns too. So
awesome. Yeah, guys, definitely check out Pegasus Actual. Like I said, it's a great show. And I'm definitely looking forward to the Madden review because I know last year's was trash, so I'm excited to see what this year turned out like. And then I really do think he should run a Rainbow Six Siege stream because I would definitely be interested in watching that because, again, I know nothing about it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I would love to see that. So as for myself, as always, you guys can catch me daily on Bounding into Comics. As for what I've got going on, I currently, in case anybody didn't know, last week I wasn't on Bounding Live because I was in the middle of a move, which I am I finally landed at the house, but I don't have all of my setup yet because, as you can see, I am actually standing or sitting on the ground for this show because I don't have my desk or chair yet. So as soon as those do get delivered and I'm back set up, I will be doing.
Where are you at now?
I am now in Arizona. I know, just the warmest, hottest place on the planet. But I'm in Arizona now, and yeah. So as soon as all of my stuff gets here and I can finally set up, I will be focusing more on my personal channel. I'll be doing game streams, critiques. I want to do a lot of content to help you find folks and everybody else out there get into things like Evangelion, Toku shows, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, all that kind of stuff. So there will be a lot of content coming. Check that out. I'll probably let you guys all know when that starts, or like when I've got all my stuff and I'm ready to go. As for game streaming,
no lie, we're gonna get Spencer to do hentai reviews,
dude. I'm up for it. We're gonna start with La Blue Girl. We're going classic. Yeah, Bravul, there might be anime streams. I might host some live watches. Who knows? Yeah, I might be a little lazy. I'll admit that.
Could always be like Susie Liu and just sit there
and just watch it and just put. Gosh, I hope she's doing awful right now. Yeah, and aside from that, you can catch us right back here, same bat time, same bat channel for next week's Black Pill stream. Hopefully, John will be back and recovered from his Slim Jim induced illness, and it should be a lot of fun. I mean, it's always fun with me and Drew, but it's always more fun the more Bounding team we have. And before we go, I just wanted to show this off because I found it while moving, and I can't believe still exists. I have the original Anakin pod racer toy. Like, it's still complete. You can still use its brakes. It's really cool. I got it probably when I was like 10 or 11, but just wanted to show that off. But aside from that, guys, it was a great stream. Enjoyed everybody here. Zero Depressive, Ravul, QCast, YouTube me, Shinkai, Luis Morales, Lopter was here earlier. Resergam, Stay at Home Podcast, Alexander Vidakovich, Josiah, so many more people that I'm totally not remembering right now, but it was always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Yeah, that's Luis. Luigi the Metal. But thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with us, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. And until then, take it easy.
Hail!